who are you? Tell us who you are.
Okay, my name's Duncan Biggs. I've been a yacht chef for 30-odd years.
Okay.
Yeah, first came in
30 years.
30
Holy
years.
fuck.
I know, I'm old. I had a hectic paper round. Yeah, no, really, I came across yachting by accident. I was in London. I was chefing over there. Been a chef all my life. Did college, the usual sort of thing that you do. But I was working in London, and then I got asked to go to an interview and ended up working for Bristow Helicopters. Had a 3-hour interview over lunch. And then the choice...
Were you cooking the lunch or...?
No, just having it. It was great.
That's a serious fucking interview. Here, cook for 3 hours, please.
Yeah, exactly. Where you go. Anyway, so fell into it. It was a choice of got offered another head chef's job in London. At the same time, I got offered to go out to the Bahamas. So it was an easy choice. And so that's how I got into yachting. Then moved, after I left that boat, came down to... I was in Bahamas, left there, went to South France. And then just stayed in it, and it's been great. It's been really good for us. And then was doing it up until sort of like 7 or 8 years ago. And then I left one of the boats, big boats I was working on. I was working on a 115 metre, and they sold it. So I left that and got into training, and ended up starting the training company Ocean Wave Monaco with my co-founder Mark. And so still chefing, still working on yachts, but still doing the training. So
what made you want to start a business? Because obviously yacht chefing itself is a huge amount of time involved in doing that job, and very unpredictable and very flexible on your behalf.
Yeah.
So how have you managed, or why even did you start another company whilst doing that? Most people would find the yacht chefing enough.
Yeah, I think originally I did some training. I ended up being a scuba dive instructor. For a while in my youth.
Where?
All over the place. Australia.
Back in Bournemouth.
Yeah. No, I did a couple of cold water dives and don't fancy that. But yeah, no, I did all the dive instructor course, and so that is the training. And my father was actually a professor in mathematics, so the teaching side has always been around that sort of thing. And so yeah, always we had someone came on to do the food safety training, and I got into it that way. Started doing food safety training. Loved being on the boats, but then decided, well, maybe want another career, and then it just bounced around from there really, and ended up cooking and ended up doing the training. And I'm passionate about both things. You know, knowledge. If people have knowledge.
All right, Mr. Gervais.
That's about that. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you've started training. I mean, if you think about it, they're very different. Cooking extremely high-end food for very difficult, and I mean that with no disrespect, very difficult people who are very demanding. Well, it's probably not difficult people. That's probably wrong. It's probably just demanding, and they know what they like, and they're not going to take any shit. Yeah. So that's one side. That's a hard thing to deal with. But training is a completely different thing. Teaching and being able to do it, usually people can't do both.
Yeah, I think when when you start cooking and then you start becoming, first of all, it's your passion about cooking. So you start doing the cooking. And then as you'll grow into your being a chef and being like, a commie, so to speak, and then moving up to being a head chef, then you get into your management side of things and you have your management head on, and then you've got a group of people that you're like, especially working on a 115-meter boat, we had like 4 chefs. So you've then got to manage them, and part of that management is training them. And so...
Okay, so what if you think about training people, you've been in yachting for a long time, 20, 30 years. Yeah. What advice can you give to a brand new chef who's coming into the industry, who's coming maybe from a restaurant trade, which I think we'd probably agree is a good direction to come from? Yeah. You've got that training, you've got your classical training under your belt, you know how to do stuff, you've worked in most of the departments in a decent-sized quality kitchen, not a local pub where you're doing burgers and roast chicken. I mean, proper restaurant. And that, I mean that with no disrespect either, to be honest with you, because let's be fair, whether you're cooking in a burger joint or a high-end restaurant, timings and the pressure is always there. Yeah. But if you've got a young lad, 25, 26, he's worked in restaurants since he was 18, and he says, what's yachting about?
Okay.
What's the score? What would you say to him?
Well, I think it's about flexibility. So when you, you've, of course, I've actually employed many female chefs because I think they're fantastic. I think that's it. I think every chef's great. But female chefs are brilliant. They've got a little bit more care, possibly some more attention. But that's another subject. Move on to that later.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
in a bit.
But you're 21-year-old chef coming in, and I think it's one of those things where you've got to have flexibility. You never know what you're going to get thrown at. It might be dinner just for two, or it might be. First job I had working for Bristow was suddenly bringing a load of people back from the golf course, and you think you're cooking for 2 people, now you're cooking for 20, and it's always that only happens once. Then you're always prepared. You've got to be prepared. Oh, we're going out for dinner tonight. And they come back, oh no, the restaurant was closed, or the restaurant wasn't very nice, so we've come back. So you always have to have that mise en place in your fridge and ready to go. And I think that is the biggest tip I can give to anybody, is expect the worst, or expect something that you're not expecting. And if you do that, most of the time you're prepared. And it's just being flexible. And also, you've got to be that type of person that gets on with everybody. You can't be doing your hissy fits and getting upset, even though it does happen sometimes. But you've got to be ready to, engage, because everybody comes to the galley. You're the center of that boat. Nobody understands the galley. I call it Hogwarts, because they want magic to happen, and you produce these food, and everybody's captain's happy, but he doesn't know anything about cooking. So he's like, oh, chopping again. There you go. Well done, chef. Carry on. They don't want to know, because it's a big surprise. They just want you to do what you do best. And then the owner wants you, obviously, to impress their guests.
Friends, clients,
exactly. But then they might just want beans on toast that evening. But
they still want it to be done with a bit of panache.
Yeah.
They just don't want basic toast with beans on, do they? You've got to make it look nice, got to be presentable.
Yeah.
So even if somebody says, do me something simple, it's
still
and simple, nice. Actually, the simplest things are the hardest to present, aren't they? How do you present beans on toast well?
But I think, use a sourdough bread for toast, and here we go, and whatever. But
cut it irregularly.
But I think it's one of those things where it's trying to understand the guests, the owners, and not just. Many chefs will do, oh, I'm a chef, I cook this way, this is my food, where you've got to put your head into what do they want. It's all very well me saying I'm going to do sort of Michelin star food, or make it all fancy and it's little pieces of taste, which is fantastic. But they just might be from Yorkshire and they want meat and 2 veg. And if that's what they want, that's what you're there for.
Yeah. It's like a DJ, isn't it?
Yeah.
A DJ doesn't necessarily only play the music they like.
Yeah.
They play the music to the crowd.
Yeah.
Because the crowd is what keeps them in a job.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
And I have found over the years, having worked with hundreds of chefs, one thing that some chefs find really tricky is meat.
Yeah.
Now, even though I think personally, for me, cooking fish is more a ball ache.
Yeah.
I think fish, in all honesty, so many fish taste very similar.
Yeah.
That you need the sauce to be good. It needs to be different. But with meat has very different tastes depending on the animal and the cut, of course.
Yeah.
But I do find and have found a lot of chefs. I'm not talking about yacht chefs, but I'm sure it's part of it as well. There's certain things chefs find difficult to do, and that's understand the seasoning on the meat. I think it's really important to get the seasoning spot on.
Yeah. Seasoning's amazing.
And understanding what rare to well done means.
Yeah.
Because so many chefs don't, they think actually it's a crime to order a well done steak.
Yeah.
A lot of chefs do.
Yeah.
I'm not of that opinion.
It depends on the cut. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I think that's it.
The cut is essential.
Yeah.
But also, if somebody says well done, it doesn't mean burn it and dry it out.
No.
You can still have what I would call well done that doesn't have any red coming out of it. It's still juicy.
Through. Yeah.
Is just more charred on the outside, more crystallized on the outside as such. With the way that you'd use the butter to actually make it a really beautiful flavour.
Yeah.
And yet if you go to a restaurant and ask for bien cuit or in France or well done, they'll give you a dirty look.
Yeah.
They'll obviously presume you have no idea about food.
They think you're English.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from the north, which I am.
Yeah.
Duck.
Yeah.
Raw
Roast.
duck in the middle drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Same with lamb. I actually don't like lamb anymore. I prefer not to eat it. I had it recently in a restaurant, and it was very chewy, very raw, very, in my opinion, raw and completely unedible.
Yeah.
My opinion, of course, my conjecture.
I will cook you some lamb.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love
when you open the kitchen. We're going to cook.
When we open the kitchen,
I'll cook you some lamb. You can enjoy it.
And I'd love to. I used to love lamb.
Yeah.
I mean, when I lived in Greece, I'd have really burnt lamb chops almost, and they're just kick ass.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of chefs have problems, especially in restaurants around here. They have a problem with seasoning.
Yeah.
And they have a problem with well done to rare. They go, it's all blue or it's slightly rare, but that's it.
I think the thing with seasoning, with everything, and we find this when people come to the ship's cook certificate, is we're so frightened with, or everybody's like, they don't want butter. People shouldn't have butter. People shouldn't have salt. And then we're like thinking, okay, the boss doesn't like salt, and so we can't garnish anything. We don't season anything. If you don't season, you don't get the good flavour. And we've had people sort of like, for example, make a soup or something, and you taste it, and there's nothing there, and you sprinkle a sprinkle of Malden sea salt into it, and it completely changes it.
Malden sea salt.
Malden sea salt. There are other salts available, by the way.
Yeah.
But there is that thing of like, you just add a little bit of salt to it, and it completely changes the flavour. And you're not going to, clog up your arteries.
But what could you use instead of a salt? If somebody says, I'm salt intolerant, I can't take that, what would you put in? Could you not put a bit of set powder?
Yeah,
just a bit of umami in it. It's got not salty, but it's going to add that little bit of
bit of
miso.
I mean,
has miso not got salt in it though?
There is, but they don't want salt, so you're not adding salt. But if you add,
something that's been near the sea, that's okay.
So actually, you get that seaweed salt. Have you seen that stuff? Stuff that's coming in. You're using seaweed, and that's amazing. Umami flavour. Well, I can never say that, but umami flavour. Umami, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm not Japanese. Anyway, there we go. But you've got all these, you've got all these different things to taste, and also like reduction. Reducing a little bit of something just to give that extra flavour into there. And I've been doing quite a lot of vegetarian or vegan food lately because my person I cook for has decided for health reasons to do that, and not because they want to save the planet or anything like that. But
they probably want to do that too.
Yeah, but the good thing about that is suddenly having a challenge of not using meat and not using the usual things, and also with that we've decided not to go in for buying. We use a little Beyond Mince now and again or things to just add to it, but we try to stay away from that because it's an actually produced food. So with that overproduction, you still got maybe it's not as healthy.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, anything that's going to be... look, I've read a lot about this recently, and a lot of these fake meats, they're not good for you.
No.
If you look at the ingredients and you actually look at what the ingredients are,
yeah,
it's not great. You wouldn't put it in your normal food in a million years.
If you speak to most vegans, they don't want a meat replacement.
No, they don't.
And that's the...
Some meat eaters who go vegetarian...
To start off with,
they're like, oh, fuck, I want a burger. And they have a bean burger and go, are you taking the piss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
So you get a Beyond Burger and they're like, and then you give them a bit of fake bacon in there and some dodgy mozzarella from that company that makes fake mozzarella.
Yeah.
And they're okay, but they're only okay for a bit, and then they go, this is shit.
Yeah. but there are good products coming out. Yeah. I mean, they have some fantastic, like the Oatly stuff, oat milk and oat. I mean, I'm not a really big fan myself, but I'm
a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I like the cream.
But it's not good for you.
Yeah. But
I've got a coffee machine and I use the oat milk, Bristol oat milk. And if you don't wash the tube out every single time, which obviously I don't because I'm a fucking human.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to go clean my fucking pipes every single time I have a coffee, spend 20 minutes cleaning. It's not happening.
Don't you have stewardesses to do that for you?
Well, I don't at home, do I? You might on the boat, but I definitely don't. So I noticed over a 2 or 3 day period when I finally go, I'm probably going to have to clean that pipe. It's orange.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you look at the ingredients, the reason barista milk it foams properly is because it's got sunflower or another oil in there, like colza or canola oil.
Yeah.
And so the oil is adding fat, which is what milk has in it, has the fat. If you get skimmed milk and try and foam it, you'd be there all day.
Exactly.
Never happen. You'll have really fucking hot milk, but you won't have any foam. And I think that's a great thing about it, but it's got oil in it.
Yeah.
And that oil clogs. I mean, would you drink sunflower oil?
No, that's the
of course
point.
you wouldn't. Nobody would, but that's not true. I do know somebody who actually quite likes drinking sunflower oil.
What
Not
about
as a
olive
pint.
oil?
I mean, just a.
What about olive oil?
I love olive oil. Yeah, I drink a nice glass. Of olive oil.
Was it Starbucks have brought out the olive oil coffee, haven't they?
It's all bollocks, though, isn't it? Typical American shit. No offence.
No,
but who the fuck in their right mind would put olive oil in their fucking coffee?
Well, the Italians apparently.
No, they don't, though, do they? They're taking it.
According to Starbucks, they do.
I read that article. It's hilarious. It's like Starbucks, like, we went to Italy, and Italy went, "You having a laugh?" A pint of coffee. What the fuck are you talking about? So they stopped it. It didn't really work very well, and they've got a few shops.
Yeah.
But they think their entrance is to go, we'll use the olive oil. Everybody in Italy will go crazy. No, they won't. They'll think you're a fucking moron. They'll go, "Why have you put olive oil in my coffee?" Why have you done that?
Well, I thought I suddenly came up with something then, but
not
obviously
Los
not.
Angeles. Do you know what I mean? It's
a
crazy.
double decaf of olive oil.
Yeah, have you got any milk? I haven't got any milk left. No, put a bit of olive oil in.
Yeah. Actually, we should have done that.
It's not.
I can't believe you're a catering company. You didn't have any milk when we came in.
We don't do milk fresh in the office because everybody here, every single person drinks oat milk.
Yeah.
So I only buy oat milk.
Actually, it's the first time I've drunk black tea for
nice,
ages, and it's actually really enjoyable.
I actually don't really drink. I only drink Earl Grey decaf now.
Yeah.
I don't drink Builder's tea anymore. I always drink. I found this really nice tea with lime and turmeric.
Oh.
It's a Twinings tea. I don't mind promoting them. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love it. I texted you yesterday.
Yeah.
A couple of bits, and I really want to make sure that I ask you a couple of things.
Okay.
We were talking about chefs on boats a minute ago, and so one of the things that I notice over the years is you need to cut corners.
Yeah.
As a yacht chef, you cannot, as a sole chef especially, or even if it's two, it doesn't really matter. But say you're a sole chef on a 50 metre, you've got 8 to 10 crew, you've got maybe 12 guests.
Yeah.
If you don't cut corners, you're dead. You're finished. You're never going to get through the season, and you've got 10, 12 weeks. The owner on as well, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So
you're doing 18-hour days.
You're doing 18-hour days.
Standard.
And you can only handle that for so long. Now, last year, I had a chef who ordered all of his fish whole.
Yeah.
I said to him, "Are you sure you don't want that filleted nicely or portioned or just in sides?" He's like, no, it's very important I do my fish. And I understand where he's coming from.
Respect it.
100% respect.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I literally sat there and went, wow. That doesn't happen anymore.
When I started off, I did the same thing. I soon changed my mind.
Yeah. How long does it take you? One day?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you've got a fridge full of whole fish. You're like, what have I done?
I had a request the other day for something like this really big stock pot to do stock, and we don't have one because we don't deal in those sort of sizes, but a stock pot for a chef. And he's making all his own stocks. And hey, wow, great for you.
Power to him.
But again, you've got all these fantastic products out there. And not trying to boost your job, maybe a little bit. But you have got good quality products, and you don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I know there's some fantastic chefs out there that
but
spend
also
all that
the
time.
space for the rubbish. You've got bones and all the stuff, and you've got to store that somewhere at sea.
If you're at 30,
maybe for a week.
If you're a 30 metre to 50 metre yacht, you just don't have that ability to do it. I mean, maybe there are some chefs out there who are very good purists, and hey, I applaud them. Well done. But you've got a lot of work to do as a chef, and you're the smallest department on any boat. Yet
the most important. We would argue.
Oh no!
As chefs and people in food, we'd argue that if people don't get fueled, they're not happy. That goes for crew and guests.
It does.
Now, that's no poo-poo in the captain, because if he doesn't manage it and run that boat properly, it goes to shit very, very quickly. We all know that. If the stewardesses don't look after those clients and serve them what they need when they want and have it, that goes to shit very quickly. But if people don't eat, it's done. There's no coming back from that, is there?
And I would applaud all the team that you the whole crew on the boat are
engineer, everybody. Let's not miss anybody out.
Exactly.
I don't want anyone to get upset.
But they do. Everybody does a great job. But there is the only difference between a chef and is that you are either one or maybe you're two. Maximum if you're on a 100-metre plus boat, maybe you're 3 or 4 people if you're lucky. But as that crew increases or that boat size increases, you then have like maybe 4 stewardesses or 8 stewardesses, or the same as the deck crew.
There's somebody to back you up.
exactly
a little bit more maybe
exactly
than if you're on your own or two of you in a galley.
So, they will have their 2-hour break in the afternoon, and sometimes, things change, plans change, and you end up as a chef working from 6-7 o'clock in the morning through till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
So tell me, what corners do you think are the right ways to cut down, and which are the wrong ways?
Okay, so I think the right
30 years of experience.
Yeah, I think the right ways are finding good products that you can use. For example, stocks, fantastic. You can get everything's changed now. They are such good quality. And so obviously that's then it. Buying your fish in, getting the provisioner or the supplier to do the work for you. And yeah, I understand that people are purists, and I might, I still do fish from whole because my clients catch them. My boss is out there and he's catching fish all over the place, and then suddenly I've got tuna, I've got wahoo, or dorade, or
and
whatever.
He doesn't even eat it because he doesn't eat fish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Loves catching it, but
got a nice tuna for the crew tonight.
Exactly. Yeah. So you still need to have that training that you had when you first started. Yeah, you're going to need it. You will do it at some point. But why make your life hard? You have to work. You do have to work hard in this business, and if you can save 15 minutes there or an hour there. But it's about being on top of things and planning your day. My biggest trick to give I recommend this to anybody, is when you finish at night, you sit down and you put down what your menu is, what you're going to get out. Because at the end of the day, even though you're tired, that sitting down for 10 minutes and deciding what you're doing the next day saves you that hour in the morning. Because you walk in the hour in the morning, how many chefs will know this? You walk in, look at the fridge, you close it, you look at the fridge again, see what's in there, and you go, nothing's in there, what am I going to do? You've just wasted an hour. If you'd have sat there for 5 minutes at the end of the night and just walked around the fridges, tidied them up a bit maybe while you're doing it, and say, well, I can use that, I can do this, and I can use that. Then you've got a plan when you walk into that galley first thing in the morning with your cup of coffee and your closed eyes, and you're checking your temperatures of your fridges or whatever it might be. You've just got that time where you wake up, but you know what you're going to do. And the other big thing I always, or try to always do, is put a pot of water on the back. If we're lucky to have quokka taps and instant boiling water, that's great. But if you don't, stick a big pot of water on. I guarantee you will use it in the morning, whether it's for breakfast or whether it's just putting on some pasta or prepping something. Someone will walk in and go, oh, we need 2 poached eggs. And you're sitting there with one little pot going, oh, boil, we need it now. And the stewardess is running in, flapping around, saying, where's my poached eggs?
I had a fantastic thing happen a few years ago. Yeah. Obviously, I've been working with chefs a long time. So I kind of get the vibe with them after you've worked with somebody for a long time. Worked with this particular chef quite a long time. And it must have been 6:45 in the morning he rang me. I was already up as at fruit and veg, as it turns out, checking the fruit and veg. He said, and he's lost his shit with me completely. These fucking eggs are shit. That's how he started the sentence. And I immediately in my head went, aha, somebody's tired. I used to get upset. Oh, my God, I've got to get him fresh eggs. And I know my eggs were fresh. I know where they came from. I know when they delivered them. I knew the client. I knew the last delivery. Eggs is not the issue. He's swearing down the phone. I mean, losing his shit. I try to poach these fucking eggs. They're absolute shit. Never give me fucking shit. Old eggs again. Bang, phone goes down. Carried on with my day. I thought to myself, someone's a bit stressed. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm sort of ignoring his stresses. It's just there's only so much stress I can take on in a day.
But I think as you get older, you learn how to take some stress.
Absolutely.
Because you have to. And that's one of the things that we do Ocean Wave. We're talking to the chefs coming in. We're moving on to this thing about mental health. And you're the only one in the galley. And Mark, my business partner, keeps coming up with this for the chefs and says, when a crew member has a problem or is upset, where do they go? They come to the galley. Because you're out of the usual run-of-the-mill things, and they come and talk to the chef. And so the chef's taken on all this stress of other people, mental problems, and is like, oh, have a cup of tea, sit here, I've just baked some cookies, have a cookie, and they walk away happy. But that chef has just taken on a load of stress. And they've got their own stress to deal with anyway. So there's a lot of time of we sit there with them and say, be aware of it. Be aware of that stress coming into your galley and what you're doing, and try to manage that. And if you have to, call us if you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think we should set up a Samaritan's line.
I have it as well. I used to, when I first started out, I used to say to every client, whatever's going on, you ever have a problem, call me. I meant food-wise, or whatever. But I used to have people phone me up just for a 20-minute moan.
Yeah.
And actually, I used to be driving around my van and they'd be chatting away on the speaker, and I'd be like, that's fine. I've got places to go. I've got headphones on as well if I'm in the shop.
Yeah.
They're having a moan. I'm bonding.
Yeah.
But they're getting it out. And it's better them get it out to me than to turn around to the
100%.
captain and lose their shit, or the chef or the stewardess or the junior who can't handle the pressure yet.
Yeah.
At 3:00 in the afternoon, this chef rang me back. And he said to me, you're right. I went, I am. I said, what happened to you this morning? He went, I've got to be honest with you, Damian. He goes, it was a late night. I was up till 4 cooking for these people as they got back from the nightclub.
Wow. Yeah.
He goes, literally 6:00, I'm out of bed again. I've had 2 hours in bed, not even 2 hours sleep.
Yeah.
I've gone in the galley. I'm not organised. I've got my head up my ass, to be completely honest with you. The stewardess says, someone's just come in and wants a poached egg. I'm like, what the fuck? It's 6:30.
Yeah.
The fuck is going on? And he sort of said, I lost my shit a bit. I put the hot water on. I've not put vinegar in it. It's not at the right temperature. I'm dropping them in as if they're bombs rather than eggs.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm doing 5, 6, 7, nothing's working, and I'm panicking. I'm getting more stressed. He goes, and that's when the eggs aren't fresh. And I called you a wanker. And I said, I knew that was the case.
Yeah.
He said, oh man. He goes, are you cool? I said, mate.
Yeah.
Of course, I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I've worked in those environments. I know what happens. The time constraints on a chef on a boat is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they're on rotation. It doesn't matter. If you're on 2 months, 2 months off, 2 months on, 2 months off, it's still extremely stressful.
Yeah.
When you've got a boat full of clients, a boat full of crew.
Yeah.
Sometimes the crew menu's more difficult than the owners, because it's got gluten-free and allergies and all sorts of needs and wants.
And I say it's almost worse than SAS Who Dares Work. Lack of sleep. What do they do on SAS? It's lack of sleep, isn't
Do you know, they should actually get people training to be in the SAS. You could stick them on a yacht in the middle of July and do a 4-week charter.
Yeah, but imagine how many
in
people.
a galley.
But they're SAS. How many people are going to kill?
Yeah, but no, they don't give them any weapons and tell them they're not allowed to use their hands.
No, excuse me, not use weapons. You've got a load of knives.
Yeah, or a bread roll, actually.
Yeah.
But a stale old baguette. But yeah, it's remarkable how much pressure you can go under. And when the pressure kicks in, that's when some of the simple things that you know. You've seen it on MasterChef when they're doing that. They have the test at the start.
Yeah.
And they just, all common sense just leaves their brain.
Yeah.
And they start, mixing a pancake wrong. I mean, a pancake mix, and you're watching them going, oh, Jezza, what are you doing? You're watching it, you're like, oh man, don't do that.
I've got so much respect to watching these chefs go on to like MasterChef and stuff like that, because especially like the MasterChef, the professionals. Hat off to them for doing it.
Oh, imagine walking into the skills test.
Exactly. It's great when when you're at home and you're sort of yelling at it. And stuff like that. So
you're calm, you're relaxed.
Yeah.
If you go in that environment, you can imagine what it's like on a TV show. It's all pumped up to make you feel stressed. So the waiting room on your own, put a bit of makeup on. Everything's orientated to make you feel stressed. Bright lights in your face.
Yeah.
All the camera crew quiet when you walk in.
Yeah.
You've got your little penny on. You walk in, you're thinking, oh fuck, I'm on TV.
Yeah.
If I fuck this up. Yeah. Everyone I know is going to take their piss out of me for the rest of my life. And if they do something really basically stupid, they know that it's not the show they're worried about. It's the fact that they can't walk in the pub again.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I can't go to work tomorrow.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, poor things. But, hey, like I said, if you're throwing yourself out there, it's fantastic to do that. And so
cutting corners, what we're doing, we're doing stock. We're going to buy stock if we can. Hopefully good quality, maybe frozen so it's in the freezer.
Yeah, and it's also making mise en place.
Yeah.
Getting your mise en place as if you can, if you're making cakes or you're doing profiterole mix or something like that. You get those things in if you've got time before. If you're doing a journey or you're doing a crossing, for example, you might think, well, I've got an easy time. You said, honestly, work that extra hour, put your time in to get your prep done, and it just saves you. If you don't, and it's and again planning. I mean, how many menus do you have to write out?
Can you hear something?
I heard a bit of a buzz. Not a phone.
I heard music.
No, I heard a buzz outside.
Okay.
But I think if you don't do your mise en place and you don't make planning, There are moments when you can just walk in, you just get on and do it. But if you've got that time, spend that extra 5 minutes to make a plan, to make it happen. Because if you don't, there's some sort of famous phrase, isn't it? Make sure you're prepared to. If you don't prepare, you prepare to fuck it all up or something. I'm not sure that's the actual wording, but you get the point.
Next thing I wanted to talk about was actually quite a few things, and I wanted to talk to you about. You've been around the block for a while. I wanted to talk to you about what's your opinion on celebrity chefs opening restaurants. I think
you've got that thing. I mean, if you think about sort of like Jamie Oliver, and there was a big sort of like mess up there because and I don't think it's personally for him, but I think what happened there was that you overextend, your quality goes down, you as a chef, whether it's Gordon Ramsay, whether it's Jamie Oliver, you personally don't. It's been done by other people, and then that management might go wrong. It's inevitable if you stretch yourself too thin, I think. And I think that's what happened certainly to Jamie and to probably Gordon Ramsay as well. And I think it's great. I mean, if I was in that position, I'd probably do exactly the same. It's cool. It's getting your money in, and you're making money. And but I think Jamie once mentioned that he was coming back and saying, "This is just me guessing or what he said," but it is that thing of like, that overexpansion, didn't have the control over it, and it affected the business. So I think you've got, like, as a businessman myself and setting up my own company, only a small company, I admit, but you suddenly realise yourself of as you move on and you're successful in your business, it grows, and you've created this animal, but it will grow, and if it does grow, and if you are successful, then it will spin off into other adventures or whatever it might be, and then you've got to control that.
I think he gave up control, though. Jamie Oliver in particular just literally signed a contract with a management company, and they went, "We're just going to use your name. It's going to be great." Jamie Oliver, again, complete conjecture. I don't know what happened, but all I know is the food shit. That's all I know is his name's on the door and the food shit. I've been to a couple, and I've tried a couple in the last year. I've been to a couple of different countries, and service has been terrible. Food has been awful. I understand that he's a popular chef who's done really well for himself, and you can't take that away from him because he has done really well. He's created a great business. I personally don't like the way he cooks. It smells to me a little bit of lack of knowledge rather than with knowledge. He's trying to create food in a simple way for simple people by doing it in a way that actually doesn't work. I've seen some of his Asian dishes. They're not Asian dishes. They're a complete fusion of bullshit. I've seen him try and create some dishes which, it's like, I remember when I was working in the French Alps. One of the companies, they used to do these menus in the hotels and the chalets and teach them for a week how to cook it. And it's a set menu. And one of them was apple crumble. Right. So you used to use a nice Canada Gris in France. It was so Canada Gris, but apples. And they used to, instead of making a crumble for the top, they told them to use the cornflakes and crumble it in a mixer. And I saw this one day in the hotel. I said to the chef, what's that all about? He went, "Oh, it's cheaper." I went, "I don't think it is. I don't think it's cheaper than flour, butter, or sugar. That's just my opinion. And it's shit. It's not an apple crumble. You can't put crumbled cornflakes on top of a crumble and call it a crumble anymore. It's not. It's not a crumble.
No, it's not. And but then we're being British. That's we're probably quite purist about that. It's something 100%. That is our dish, but
that's what Jamie Oliver does, though. He takes certain things out. He says, "Oh, it's difficult to get that because we're not in Asia, so we use strawberries." Well, it doesn't work. It's not the same dish, and it drives me crazy.
I'm going to come to his defence a little bit here. I think you've got, what is his market? Who's he aiming his market at, or what's he doing? He's talking about people at home who aren't chefs, who probably enjoy cooking. And, I think back 10 years ago, you probably could, or 15 years ago, or 20, maybe even 20 years ago, you probably couldn't get all those products. You can now. I mean, look at Waitrose and stuff like that. You've got everything that you possibly need. But it's for those people who don't cook or are just interested in cooking, or they want to cook a quick meal. And so he's aiming for that target market, and good on him, to be honest with you.
He's earning money. He's doing a good job. He's got a great persona on camera, which is fantastic. I just don't like his food.
Yeah,
and I don't think, for me, it's
in your opinion.
Yeah, well, no, but that's what this show is all about: is opinions.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean I'm right. It's just an opinion. It's just a conjecture.
Yeah,
and a conjecture is generally an opinion based on very little evidence.
Exactly.
Now, the only evidence I've got is eating in his restaurants and looking at his cookbook, seeing him on the TV, seeing him on YouTube.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's not what I would consider to be quality food. No. I think a lot of the time he's cutting corners that don't need to be cut, basically to try and give a different slant on something. But in my opinion, it's not a different slant. It's just weird.
But I think it's cutting corners to try and make it easier for people, or to introduce people to cooking. So if we look at it from the point of view,
I can do that by just using good produce. I mean, if you just have a decent olive oil, even from the supermarket, a decent olive oil, just get a balsamic and to reduce it into a sticky balsamic. You know, that's a simple thing anybody can do in a pan. It's not, you don't need to be fucking, Gordon Ramsay or anybody. You just need to literally reduce it so it becomes a bit thicker. Yeah. And you can just dabble that on top of, rock it with cherry tomatoes, a bit of lemon juice over the top, a tiny bit of
but the
salt,
Italians have been
and
doing,
boom.
And the Italians have been doing simple
donkey's
food.
Years.
I think for a lot, even
years.
older than any donkey.
Since Caesar.
Exactly.
When he came up with that fucking salad, which is fantastic. Oh, it wasn't him, was it?
No. I think that was in Mexico or something like that. But I think, good Italian food is, we're very lucky. We go across the border.
But his restaurant's called Italian.
Yeah.
Something, Jamie Oliver's Italian.
Yeah, I mean,
something or other.
Yeah, but
it's fucking terrible. It's dried pasta, cooked badly. But everything about it, like even the parmesan. I mean, it's called Italians something or other. I can't even.
But this is the same with. I mean, I ate at Heathrow at Ramsay's.
Plain food,
and it wasn't up to scratch. And I think, again, when you lose that. It's not probably Gordon's fault. It's like or Jamie's fault. They've just let go, and it's not their particular restaurant. They're not working there.
But it's their brand. It's their name. How can it not be their fault? Of course.
No. What I'm saying
is, it's like if my company fucks up a delivery to a boat.
Yeah.
Who do you think they blame?
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't blame the staff. They blame me. They call me, and it's my job to get it right.
100%.
The same as if you are in the galley and the food goes out and the boss doesn't like it. You're not. You can turn around and blame the sue if you like, but it's you getting shit.
Exactly. No, 100%. Yeah. But I think that is, growth of a company is you get to the point where you could lose track of it.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think they probably just signed it. Someone's come along and said, okay, we can make you a fortune, and here we go. And they've signed it. How much involvement they had in it. Give Jamie his due. When there was a big problem,
you like him, don't you?
I do like him. No, I like him. But he wonderful. I like the fact that he organised 15.
Yeah,
I thought that was amazing. He's gone out there and he put his money where his mouth was when it started to mess up and stuff like that. So I like him, and I think okay. You personally might not like his food. I might look at something and go, well, I wouldn't do that recipe. But I think
that's a great thing about food. We all have an opinion.
Oh, everybody's got.
Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got an opinion. Even somebody who has no taste buds will go into a restaurant, taste something, and go, "It's not for me." Well, that was done wrong, or I'd have done this, or I'd have added that. But that's the great thing about food.
And how many times you go in with your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever it is, or your
wife's girlfriend,
or your partner, or whatever whatever you like to, and you discuss the food.
Yeah.
And that's all you do.
Completely.
And I think it's. I think I love going into restaurants. I'm obviously, as a chef, I love going into great restaurants. But sometimes you go into a restaurant and you think, well, maybe they've had a hard day themselves. And I think
you're still a paying customer. It shouldn't be any different from you for the guy that was in there yesterday.
100%.
There's no reason to. It's not an excuse.
The thing that I like is I'll mention it because I want them to know that if something's wrong. I don't make a scene.
Will you tell them?
And I will tell them. But the thing is, what I will do is do it nice and politely. The worst thing I hate is if someone turns around and then tells me, no, that's the way it's meant to be.
Okay, because that's not.
Then that's when I lose.
Do you know the best put down I've ever heard in a restaurant? I won't tell the famous chef's name because that would be embarrassing, but I took a client out years ago to a very famous restaurant in the south of France. Probably not, it's not an Alan Ducasse or anything like that. I'm not a millionaire. But it was a really nice Michelin restaurant out the sticks a little bit. And when we went in, he was his girlfriend and my girlfriend. We all went in all dressed up. It was very, I was very proud of the fact that I had a great client I could afford to take out for dinner, to be completely honest with you. We're going to a Michelin star restaurant. I was very excited. I thought it's going to be fantastic. Yes, the food was shit. That's a fact, right? I don't care when it says. If you stuff a raw cauliflower with flour of a courgette, with a mushy mushroom shit puree and put it in a mushroom shitty broth and it's all just soggy in the middle and horrible, you deserve everything you get, in my opinion. What is it, 1830 again? Sort yourself out. But we went in.
And you're paying money for this.
And you're paying a lot of money.
Paying a lot of money.
And we sat down and the chef I was with, he turns to the waiter. He said, is the chef here tonight? This famous chef. He went, oh, yes, he is. He went, and do you have the recipe book here? He went, yes, fantastic book. It's 160 pages. It's pictures of the France coaches. He went,
3,000 euros.
When we finished, could we have 2 copies signed by him? And the guy was absolutely no problem. So we had our meal. We all moaned throughout the entire meal, all the way through to dessert, where literally it said crispy based biscuit, bullshit. And it came in a broth again, soggy. Everything was just soggy. When we came to pay, the chef said, I was paying, of course, but the chef turned to the waiter. He went, has he signed those books yet? He went, oh, yes, he has. Don't worry. He went, oh, that's a shame. And I just thought that was the best put down he needed to do. Didn't need to complain. Just ask him, oh, no, you've signed it. Shit, that'll be worth less then, won't it? It was hilarious. I was like, nice. I learned a lot from that chef. He taught me how to in a classy way, put somebody down in a restaurant.
Now, talking about Michelin star restaurants, I've just booked in a couple of months' time. I'm going up to Lake District, and I've heard so much about this restaurant, and it's L'Enclume.
Okay.
So up in Lake District. And one of the nicest things about this is that we turn up at 11 o'clock. We go to their farm, or the farm, garden, etc., whatever it is. We walk around that. We go and see all these, how they do it. Because basically, everything's from the farm is done. It's farm to fork. So interesting from that point of view.
Everything?
Well, obviously, I imagine fish. Obviously, they're not going to get the fish in, but they probably get their meat in, but from local suppliers as much as possible. But certainly, the fruit and the vegetables are all made at the farm. So I'm so looking forward to this. And I've had a couple of chefs I know. One chef's been to the restaurant, says it's amazing. I've had another chef who's done a stage there.
Cool.
And so I was having a chat with them. And the thing about it is, it's a tasting menu. It takes 3 hours to eat this tasting menu. So I'll tell you what, once I've done it and I come back, we'll have a little chat about it.
Let's get you in for chat and tell us exactly how it went. If you have any pictures as well.
Oh, yeah.
What we can do is we'll do it on...
But if you go on their website, L'Enclume's website, they've got a little film and talking about all their stuff that they're doing. So it looks...
Tapping your foot?
No, it's me tapping the table.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But you go and have a little look on their website and stuff, and it is really good.
So have you looked at the menu?
They do. They change the menu all the time.
So you can't in advance decide what you're going to have. In the back of your mind.
But they give you a sort of demonstration menu, and there's one that's called Duncan's Cabbage on there. So it's obviously named after me.
You've got to have it.
Got to try
you don't
that.
even like cabbage, but you have it.
I like the odd cabbage now and again. But,
so one of the, I think, when you get back, let's talk. I really want to hear what it's like because. There's so many. I went to Dubai recently and had one of the best Indian meals I've ever had. I'm a massive Indian fan.
Yeah, me too.
A huge. And in the south of France, with no disrespect to anybody, it's all pretty poor.
They're cooking, but they're cooking for French taste. And
with no spiciness.
Exactly.
No flavour.
Yeah.
Which
is surprising for the French. But I'm not dissing the French, but
you're a bit.
Well, I am, yeah. But they don't seem to like spicy food.
Indian food.
Yeah, and I love Indian food. I think any any Englishman is brought up with Indian food, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, we've got a huge part of our culture is based in Indian food now. Yeah. I mean, at one point, I think chicken tikka masala was the most popular dish in the UK, which says it all.
But they've actually changed. But you probably know this already. But the actual English curry, or when you get served those, they're not the same as you would get in India.
No, of course, yeah, it's completely different.
They're cooking for English taste.
Yeah, of course.
So
this is what happened in the 60s when a lot of Indian people arrived in the UK. We're not going to get into politics here. No. I could easily go on about how incredibly, awful I think colonialism was. But when they all came, I know it sounds ridiculous. It's one of my things. I actually was out with a captain one night. This is a couple of years ago down in Juan-la-Pan. And we went out for a bite to eat. Very good client. Hadn't seen him for a long time. We went I was just going to go for a meal in the restaurant, but he was Irish drinking. So we went for a couple of beers. About 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting outside one of these pubs, absolutely leathered. I was leathered. Basically, he was fine. Because he knows how to drink. I don't drink very often, not huge quantities. And we were doing pints, and it got to that point where I don't think I could even fit any more in. I was leathered. He went to the toilet, and I used to smoke, so I'm like, I'm going to go and have find somebody for a cigarette. So I went outside. The captain said to me, text me a few days later. He said, are you free? I went, yeah. He phoned me up. He said, one of the funniest moments I've had in yachting was when I went for a piss. I left you there. He goes, the next thing, when I come back, I can't find you. I'm walking around having a look. You're standing outside. I open the door. You're standing outside smoking a cigarette, and you're standing talking to an Indian guy, and you're apologizing for colonialism. And I'm like, well, how the fuck did that happen? He goes, you were leathered. And he goes, you're so sorry about it. He goes, it was so funny. He goes, how did the night get to this point? But yeah, lover of Indian food. Yeah. And I went to Dubai, and I went to a place called India. Indya, in I think it's the Meridian Royal Hotel one night. I've seen it online. I thought I really want to go and have a good Indian meal. I live in France. It's difficult to get a good Indian, especially in the south of France. So we went, and it was unreal. Yeah, every single piece of food that came out, was top. If I lived in Dubai, I'd be another 20 kilos. It was unbelievable.
Do they do takeaway?
They do, I think. But the for me, and I've always said this about restaurants, is you can do an amazing starter. Yeah. You can do amazing main dishes. Yeah. You can do all of the condiments and the bits and pieces, especially in Indian. There's naan breads and there's rices and papadums and rotis, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. You can do all of the beautiful bhajis. They did a bhaji which was onion bhaji with beetroot. Yeah. And it was amazing. Beetroot and onion together. And it was gorgeous.
You do realise I'm going to be doing that next
week.
Man,
you've got to get yourself to Dubai. Did you go to Dubai ever?
No, I haven't been to Dubai.
Man, the food is incredible in most places.
Apart from the Gulf War. I'm there in the Gulf War.
Yeah, there we go. The food's amazing to be fair. And makes some countries look like a bit of a joke, considering the type of restaurants, quality and things like that. But at the end of the meal, decided to have a masala tea. Yeah. We ordered masala tea, no dessert. I said, look, who eats dessert in an Indian restaurant? Or even an Asian restaurant, to be fair. Yeah. Because
I agree with you.
It's just not something you do, is it? Yeah. And also, if you're not full by the time you've had all the extras, exactly. You shouldn't be really eating any more food, to be honest with you. And they served the masala tea, which was outstanding masala tea, with a cardamom cookie. But instead of it being sort of a flat cookie, it was almost perfectly round.
Oh, wow.
And it was hard. So I looked up the recipe, and I made them a few times. The recipe online has put a bit of baking powder in, but I didn't. I took the baking powder out because these were firm and round. Yeah. So I took the baking powder out and cooked it, and it's absolutely amazing, very similar. It doesn't really grow much because you've not got the baking powder in it. Yeah. About that big, lovely, smooth cardamom flavour.
But the baking powder will make it softer.
Exactly. I don't want it soft because they were hard. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, generally the baking powder is going to make it expand slightly, isn't it? It's going to put more air inside it. Well, if you don't put the baking powder in, it's firm in the middle, especially. Maybe softer on the outside. But you get that crunch to it as you bite in it. Wow. And you put a little bit of semolina flour in as well, which gives it a bit more crunch. Yeah. You put cardamom in it when you're making it. You put cardamom powder in because you can't put whole cardamom. And it has this beautiful, smooth, sort of shortcake biscuit with this cardamom that floats through it. And I just thought, if I was working on a boat now, I'd have to do an Indian night. Yeah. If the clients were up for it. Yeah. Because doing something like that, masala spiced tea, homemade, really fresh.
I mean, I like cardamom tea.
That's
really nice as well.
I love cardamom coffee. Yeah. So having been in Oman and stuff, in the morning you're drinking cardamom coffee with dates and stuff. I mean, I love it. But definitely, if you go to
my chef brain's working now. I'm like thinking, I could do that. And
I know, stuff. The cardamom coffee in Arabia is just unbelievable. Oman was the best I've ever had, actually. Just beautiful, really smooth flavour. Because you can put too much of a spice in something and it really fucks it. absolutely beautiful. Everywhere you had it was just amazing.
Yeah.
But if you go to Dubai, go to India in the Meridian, it's just a phenomenal meal. The environment was nice. He has a more high-end restaurant. That's just a normal Indian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cheap, it's Dubai, but the food was outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean outrageous. If you go, but then also you have the other end of the scale. Went to a place called, what was it called? It was called The Scene. Okay. So there's a building down by the marina. Yeah. 7 stories. It's a cool place to go, apparently, online. It's not that cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, the Pier or something. It's got 7 stories, 7 different themed restaurants and clubs and stuff like that, right? It's cool. It's not very cool.
I went to a place in Canada, and it was called My Apartment.
Okay.
And we were in a taxi. This was when I was in the Royal Navy. And we came out and we jumped into this taxi and said, where's the coolest place in town to go? And the guy went, My Apartment. I was like,
all right, mate.
Really?
Leave
you
it
sure? Luckily, we pulled up at this place called My Apartment, and it had the same thing. It had the nightclub in the centre, and then it had like country and western bar,
really
jazz
cool.
bar, all these bars.
Was it good?
It was amazing.
Yeah. You see, this place was not.
Oh,
it was actually quite dirty. And for Dubai, I was quite surprised, especially down in the marina.
Yeah.
We went to one place. They said, no, we're busy, we're full. I was like, okay. So I said, which one? They go to floor 4.
Yeah.
That'll suit you. I wanted to go back and say to them later on, was that a diss? Do you like taking the piss? Famous chef.
Yeah.
Maybe not as famous as some of the others.
Yeah.
Does a TV show in the UK. Used to do it on Channel 4, now does it on Channel 5, I think. Simon Rimmer.
Yeah, yeah.
Bald-headed chap.
Yeah.
Quite like him.
Yeah.
Needs to get his shit together.
Oh, really?
This restaurant is possibly one of the worst places I've ever been in my life.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
The food, the service, first of all, was terrible. The place was filthy.
Yeah.
The carpets looked like it needed completely ripped out and start again. You know, you get a good vax on it and it would be a completely different colour. Yeah. Any chief stewardess would walk in and gone, no, out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they've got quality, you know, and they'd be looking and going, nah. You notice things like that when you've been in the yachting industry.
Yeah, you do.
Unfortunately, we have to, okay, I'm not on a yacht, I'm a provisioner, fine. I have to provide quality, otherwise I don't have a job. Yeah. You have to provide quality or you don't have a job. That's how it works. There's no middle ground. And so everywhere I go, I'm very judgmental. I can't help it. Because I look and go, if I did that, I'd lose my job. Yeah. And I'm shocked, but of course, it shouldn't be.
And I totally agree with you on that. But don't you find, isn't it amazing when it's the other way around? And you walk, fine, you want to go to a Michelin star restaurant, you expect it to be the top of the top and, you know, everything, you know, the best. Because you're paying good money for it. But it's when you go into that little Italian restaurant and it's family run and you get the best service you've ever had and the food's amazing and it's simple but it's great. Those are the times that I love this business.
I agree.
And that's, you know,
you're right,
I would love to turn around and employ all those little people, all those people that are doing a great job from whether it's the waitress, whether it's the chef, whether it's the guy who, you know, who's collecting your coat or whatever it is. But when they do that, you know, I'd love to have this big restaurant and employ all those people that you meet throughout your life that are passionate about their job and love their job. And that service is amazing, you know. And
do you not think it's just impossible to scale that?
Yeah, no,
those people do it because they're with the owners. They feel part of the family almost. Yeah. So you work in an environment like that much better than you do as if you're in a Jamie Oliver restaurant where you just number on a wage slip.
100%.
You go to work, you do your 8 hours, you do your 7 hours, you leave, and you go, well, it's not my problem anymore. That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. If the owners are there and they're involved in it and they're talking about the produce and they're making fresh pasta, I agree that there's best places to go to. I prefer to go to one of those in a Michelin star restaurant, in all honesty.
I totally agree with you.
I just don't think you can scale it.
No,
in any way.
But that's the whole conversation we've been having, though, isn't it? About these Jamie Oliver places, whether it's Gordon Ramsay and stuff like that. You can't scale things up because you can only probably pay minimum wage. You know, you're not paying for. It's not the fault of the people there because it's the management and saying, well, you know, we need to cut costs or the cost of the food is going up. Yeah. So we can't pay the chef or train the chef. You know, I mean, that comes back to us with training. We want to train people, or we want to turn around and say to people, be the best you can be. But if you don't spend that 5 minutes or 20 minutes a day to turn around with your staff or your crew or whatever it might be and just go, okay, guys, we're going to spend 15 minutes. You do it on firefighting, yeah? You do it on drills, man overboard drills. Why not, as a chef, turn around and go, all right, guys, let's invest in you. I'll send you off to do a starch. Or I'll turn around and say, I'll spend 5 minutes or half a day or whatever it is, time just going, guys, what about this dish? And you might turn around and find, like, what we used to do is have, when we were one of the younger chefs, I remember this guy, he was so passionate about doing the salads. And he was mixing so many different things in the salads. He was reading up on them and just making some amazing salads. And sometimes it was easier to go, why don't you come over here? Show the rest of the guys this. Yeah. You're doing a great job, And one, everybody learns. But secondly, he felt so proud about what he was doing and what he was passionate about.
And I'd say quite often it's not just the money that's the interesting thing, especially if you're a chef. Yeah. It's about the passion for what you're doing and what you're cooking. Yeah. And you can tell a real... I've always said that I think it's true of any industry, but in yachting, let's put it this way, in chefing, put it this way. Yeah. Out of every 100 chefs, right, I'd say there's probably 10 that shouldn't be chefs. Yeah. Right? There's probably 80 that are probably... pretty cool, pretty good at what they do. Yeah. Maybe aren't in it for the right reason, but actually fell in love with it. Yeah. So they stuck with it, and they're actually creating a pretty good career. Yeah. And then I think there's probably 9 who are top-end chefs, kick-ass chefs, who are always learning, know they're learning, never think they know everything.
No, you can't.
Never take things for granted. No. And then out of every 100, you've got what I call a rock star chef. Yeah. That's a guy or a girl that could walk out in yachting, out onto the aft deck, understands clientele, knows how to manipulate them into eating what's in their galley, what they've got in the fridge, what they've got in the freezer.
I like your word manipulate.
Well, I use the word
encourage. I like to.
Look, of course, you're using a much better word than me, but it's manipulation, and you have to do it as a professional. You have to manipulate the people to get them to eat what you have that's fresh. Yeah. If you walk out in the after, I had a client years ago. He went to Ibiza. He'll be hearing this. He'll laugh. And he rang me at sort of 11:15 at night. He was in Ibiza. And he went, I've just fucked up. I said to him, what have you done? What have you done? Given a vegetarian meat? He went, no, it's worse than that. I've just gone out on the aft deck. I've just given it the large one. Yeah. I said, what have you... Because they were going on about how great the food was. They've never had such amazing food on a charter. They were generally blowing smoke up my ass, and I lost it. I said, what have you done? Because I told them I had a 6-kilo fresh turbot coming in tomorrow morning for lunch. He goes, I'm in Ibiza, man. I'm at Formentera. What the hell am I going to do? And this is before there were provisioners in Ibiza. Yeah. So I said to him, it's 11:50. What? He said, Damian, you need to sort this. I was like... I said, man, why didn't you tell him you had a sea bass, which you do have in your fridge, because you took it yesterday from me in the south of France. Yeah. He went, man, I lost my fucking mind. I don't know what to say to you.
I know. I can feel it. I can feel it. No, 100% I can feel it.
He's like, I got back in the galley and I just headbutted the counter and I went, oh, fuck, what have I done? He goes, so I'm calling you because you need to pull me out of the shit. I was like, he put the phone down, so started texting a few people. It's late at night. Yeah. I mean, who's going to answer? 6 o'clock, I'm up. I'm on the phone texting people. I finally get a hold of somebody I know, a personal friend of mine from Ibiza, because I worked there years ago. So I texted them, got a hold of them. They rang me when they woke up. I said, I need a 6-kilo sea bass. Turbot. I need it on a boat over in Formentera, and I need you to help me. And I don't really care what the cost is at this point. Yeah. So they went, I'll go down the market. So they went down to the market, and they bought one in a big poly box. Yeah. Put it on the back of a jet ski. Yeah. Put the things you put over your luggage on a car. Put these over it. Held it on. He goes, I've got a mate who's got a jet ski. He's going to take it to Formentera for you. So the chef calls me at must have been 9:10 in the morning. He went, how the fuck did you do that? I said to him, mate, I'm slept.
It's what I do.
Yeah, I was like really cocky. He went, mate, that's the score. Yeah. You're a client. I sort it out. In reality, I was panicking. I thought this is never going to happen. So it was a hilarious moment. But I think, to me, a rock star chef is that 1% who knows how to encourage the clients to have and sell those dishes to them.
Exactly.
And how to talk to them about pretty much anything. Yeah. And run a galley. And provision, knowing what's coming up, or even like you said, provisioning, not knowing what's coming up. Yeah, always having something to back up.
I think
what you do.
The more experience you get, I was talking to someone the other day about this, but it was you walk into a shop, and I know you pick up this happened to me the other day. You pick up a packet of poppadoms in this case, and you walk in and you're not doing curry. It's just that for some reason you don't know why you've done it, but you've done it. And then the boss turns around and says, "Oh, I really fancy a poppadom." And you think, how did that happen? And that happened to me the other day.
Oh, really?
It literally happened to me the other day. And I think, is it a sixth sense? Is there a chef god up there somewhere going, "Okay, Duncan, it's your turn today.
It's manifesting, isn't it?
Make sure you grab that pop." But so is it? I hear ringing. I've got ringing in my ears.
I heard something a minute ago. Let's just have a listen.
No?
I heard like music earlier.
Yeah.
Or somebody talking. I'm like, what's going on? Is it somebody next door?
Maybe it's the chef god or something, But yeah, no. Why is it that you walk in and you get this moment of? Is it just down to experience? You just suddenly see that. Oh well, I know they like that, and I'll just grab them just in case. But that's happened through all my career. I've gone and picked up certain cheese or something.
It's just manifestation then.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Look, I don't want to get spiritual and all on you at this time in the day, but in reality, I think manifestation is a real thing. I don't know how, I can't explain it, but I would say manifestation is something that I've done accidentally for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never not achieved what I want. Of course, we're always trying to achieve better and be better, but in reality, I'd say that manifestation is a real thing. And I think what you're saying is true. You bought poppadoms, but it could have been basically. You heard somebody mention them subconsciously, didn't really hear it, it's subconscious. And so you've gone to the shops, you go, I need to get some of them, because you never know.
Yeah.
And of course, it just happens to be at the time. Maybe the stewardess went, he was talking about poppadoms up there tonight.
Yeah.
And you were doing something, cooking, and you just subconsciously heard it. So the next time you're shopping, you're going, I better get poppadoms.
Yeah.
And the owner's thought of poppadoms. He's talking to a mate, and for some reason, that's come up. I don't know how that would happen.
The funny thing, I wasn't even making curry. So it wasn't, I mean, there was nothing, it was a lemon risotto with fresh leeks from the garden, because it was a shore-based thing. And then I was doing swordfish or something. Yeah. So was no sort of.
I think swordfish and poppadoms.
I think it's a classic. It's the new. It's my
what flavour poppadom?
No, it's just a plain poppadom, just a good plain poppadom and a bit of mango chutney. But I think with that, it's I think it's a bit strange. I've always had it where you always go and pick up those ingredients, whether it's. I think it's just chef god, to be honest.
Well, I think it's because you kind of know your client. You're organised, therefore you're always thinking of what do I need or what could happen. Yeah. So you're preparing for it, and of course it inevitably does.
I mean, I did buy half the shop. So I didn't just buy poppadoms.
It wasn't just poppadoms you wanted, though, was it? What do you think of? So something that I'm quite interested in, and most people tell me I'm a lunatic, but peppers and salts. Yeah. Now, when I see a recipe book, seasoned with pepper and salt really annoys me because there's thousands of types of pepper, many, many salts you could season something with. Yeah. So, I love Campot black pepper. Yeah. For me, it's the best pepper you can get. Yeah. It's got the correct heat. It's got the right smoothness. It's not harsh. And again, I'm not putting down Vietnam. No. I'm just saying it's a more harsh pepper. Yeah. It's a bit more spicy and a bit more harsh. You can sense it's there, and it can sometimes, if you have an accident because you're doing, what did you say? Yeah. Before you know it, you've over peppered something. Yeah. I think with Campot, it's harder to do that. And therefore, I think it's more a protection thing as well, but much smoother pepper. There's many peppers. I have smoked peppers. We have Tello cherry pepper. There's all sorts. Yeah. Why don't recipes specify the type of pepper and the type of salt? Because I've got smoked salts, I've got celery salts, lemon salts, but they just don't do that.
So you've got first of all, you're talking about, are those recipes for the housewife at home? Is it, no, I don't mean that, or any the basic cook at home.
Quite sexist.
It is, and I apologise to anybody out there that I might have said something wrong. Listening. We might edit that one out. But
let's edit it out, and then we'll turn to the camera and go, "What did we edit out?"
So you got, but then that's where your chef is a chef, isn't it? It's these products are out there, and you go down that that way of cooking, and you think, well, do I use a lemon oil? Do I use which olive oil?
Do you make your own lemon oil?
No. Actually, I've got one product, and I won't. But
I know who
because
it is.
think, yeah, we both know who it is.
I know who it is.
And I've got to say, it's an amazing lemon olive oil. But I've tried so many lemon olive oils that are synthetic, that are terrible, that I would pour down the drain. Or no, obviously I'd put it away in the special bin.
You wouldn't put it down the drain.
Put it down the drain.
You put oil down the drain.
Who
would do that?
Well, the engineers get a little bit upset by doing that. That's why I do it.
So the best way to do, I'm going to bore you now.
Yeah.
I'm a massive olive oil person.
Yeah.
I've been many places over the years. I travel every year and taste a lot of olive oil. And do it usually October, November when they're picking and putting them in the centrifuge. And I found an olive oil years ago, a lemon olive oil.
Yeah.
And they use Seville lemons.
Yeah.
And they put the lemon in the machine whole with the olives. So they macerate it with the olives, which means it's incorporated into the oil.
Yeah.
It's not added afterwards.
Yeah.
Now, if I get, in the winter, I buy things like bergamot.
Yeah.
Fresh bergamot and things like Buddha's hand lemon.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will peel them and put the peel. I have 100ml bottles, and I'll put Venta del Baron olive oil, which is my favourite. And the thing about Venta del Baron is you can actually do stuff to it that you can't to another high-end oil. Like a Rinsula Sabatica, best oil in the world, organic, is a finishing oil. Yeah. You can't heat that.
No.
You destroy it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Venta del Baron is a heatable. Yeah. Not.
So you just you warm it up.
Yeah.
You
warm.
You infuse it. It's like making perfume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you put your I put it into a 100ml jar and I put bergamot in there or Buddha hand lemon, and then I use it a couple of weeks later and season stuff, or I'll make even fondant for the middle of a chocolate.
Yeah, yeah.
Olive oil, Buddha's hand lemon infused oil.
Wow.
I'll mix with very basic. I'll put it icing sugar.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll put that inside my chocolate. So I'll make my chocolate case, put that inside, and then I'll cover it. And those are chocolate. So I use a caramel chocolate, make a caramel chocolate, and inside would be lemon olive oil. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not because I believe Valrhona is the best. It's just one of the easiest to work with. It melts the right temperature. For me, I love it because it's easy to work with. I think a lot of chefs find it easy to work with. I have been to shows and found amazing chocolate.
Yeah.
The problem we have, especially in our industry, everybody wants small packaging.
Yeah.
Now, Valrhona does come in 250 grams kilos, 3 kilos.
You do a kilo, bag, don't you?
We do, but we also have 250 grams of things like caramellia because people don't use caramel chocolate as much.
No.
But the problem is with a lot of the other... I was at a show recently, amazing chocolate. I mean, kick-ass. I said to the guy, I want to try this with the clients this year. He said, great, they're in 3 kilo bags. I went, nobody wants a fucking 3 kilo bag. He says, and he sat there and he said to me, it's the biggest complaint we get. If we put these in kilo bags, we would destroy Valrhona. I went, what? Right. You have the power to do that. Yeah. Nobody's stopping you. It's not illegal. It's not like someone's going to come and go, hey, mate, prison. Why? 3 kilo bag, 1 kilo bag. What are you doing, you complete nutter?
Why not?
Well, this is the thing. He said, if we did that, we'd make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Well, do it then.
Yeah.
Don't sit telling me you won't do it. It's in 3 kilo bags. It's ridiculous. Nobody wants 3 kilos of every chocolate.
No.
Not on a boat.
No.
If you're in a restaurant, different story.
But I think that's... So we talked about earlier on about about making mistakes. And so you're coming from a restaurant or coming from, land-based. And I had a chef come in when he first started as a cruise chef. But he was ordering like big tins of tomatoes and big tins, and because that's what you
used to,
what you used to, and then suddenly realised that most of the time on a boat you're just buying the average normal household tin. You might be buying 24 of them or whatever it might be for tomatoes, but that's the size you need on a boat. So it's those little bits of knowledge that you gain over the years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I say that to a lot of people who come and work here.
Yeah.
And they say, why don't we just sell them? I said, we can't sell them a 4.2 kilo tin of pulpa from Muti.
Yeah.
Because half it goes in the bin.
Yeah.
400 gram or mil tins, sometimes 800 on a bigger boat, but generally it's 400 because you go 1, 2, 3 if you need 3. Yeah. It's just not worth having to put it into a container and put it in the fridge and know that mark it with a date and go, I've got 3 days, and if I don't use it, it goes in the bin.
Exactly.
It's extra work, like we were talking about, cutting corners.
That's it.
And a lot of suppliers who we talk to, we want to use want to sell their product, and we try and explain to them. They don't get it. They go, oh, well, these come in a 50 kilo tin, or sorry, 50 kilo bag.
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to do with that?
Yeah.
So I'm always having these problems with suppliers who want to sell me mass quantities and say, "Oh, it's cheaper if you order a 50-kilo drum."
Yeah.
I go, well, who am I going to sell that to?
Aren't you doing? But you're packaging your own nuts now, aren't you?
We do all our own nuts, all our own spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that was. I'm not plugging you now, but I mean that's the thing.
You're on a bit.
Yeah, hopefully. But no, I mean that really works for me on a boat. Those are the I want a packet of sea salt, or I want a packet, but I want it in a certain size.
Yeah, you don't want big sizes.
I don't want big sizes. I'd rather buy 4 of them, or 10 of them, or 20 of them.
Well, if you buy 3 packets of Maldon salt, you put them in the cupboard, and you take one out at a time.
Yeah,
you wouldn't normally buy a
big tub.
1.2 kilo tub or 1.5 kilo tub.
Yeah.
Now a restaurant would.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is I try and always think to myself, if I was cooking, what would I want to do?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm in the business of making sales, of course. So let's make it easy for people.
Yeah.
Let's not make it hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be hard.
No.
Why make it hard? But when I'm dealing with new supplies, it's very difficult for them to understand. I mean, obviously we're starting this cheese thing now. It's a whole new level of nightmares. 32-kilo blocks.
That pecorino we tasted earlier was amazing.
Well, that's like the best pecorino in the world. It's in the top 16 cheeses from last year.
Yeah.
In the World Cheese Tournament, 2,500 cheeses.
Yeah.
Over 200. I think it's 248 adjudicators.
Yeah.
And
where was this held?
It was in Wales last year.
Wow.
In November, and the year before it was in northern Spain. Yeah. So it moves every year all around Europe.
Yeah.
But the pecorino, I mean, I've never really been a massive pecorino fan.
No.
I quite like a truffle pecorino if it's nice, but not a huge fan. And the reason I've never been a huge fan is because most of it's pretty shit.
Yeah.
But that one is absolutely
amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was
beautiful.
very smooth. Great flavour.
And
great flavour profile.
The cheeses we have this year from that selection of the world's top cheeses is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've just got one coming from Sweden.
Yeah.
I spoke to him yesterday. I've tasted it. It's amazing. We've had samples. It's a hard cheese. It's been in the top 16 for the last 3 years out of 2,500 cheeses. It's incredible.
Have you tried the gin from Sweden?
The what?
Herno. Have you tried Herno gin?
No. What is it?
We actually, I was on the boat and we went up there, so we went and had a look at it. It is the best gin I have ever tasted.
Oh, really?
And it's called Herno.
What's it made from?
Well, I imagine juniper. I don't know.
Is it?
No, it's gin.
Did you go there?
Gin. Yeah, no,
to the brewery.
Well, no brewery. I think it's called a distillery.
Okay, all right.
No, I was actually on the boat, and all the guests went over there and everything else. But got the feedback from that, and then tried it. And it's one of those things that someone passes you a drink, and you're talking, and then you have a sip, and then you stop talking, and you look at the glass. That is when you know you found a good drink.
Yeah.
So I know you don't drink that much, but if you are going to drink...
I love gin, actually. I just don't drink much anymore. Yeah, but I know what you mean. You pick it up, you have a sip, you're talking about something, and you go, ooh.
Well, that's good.
That is amazing. Yeah. I did that a while ago. It was a sad event. I was going to the mountains. One of my friends had died a couple of years ago, and I was going up there for the funeral, and we stopped in Grenoble where we've lost that camera.
Well, it's obviously doing well. We're chatting then.
Let me put you on there. So I went up there the night before.
Yeah.
Funeral's in Grenoble, and I know there's a really good Indian. So I texted one of my buddies in the Alps. I said, "What's the name of that Indian?" And he texted it to me. So I put it in Google Maps, and we walked there. Of course, it was a completely different Indian than the one I've remembered from Grenoble years ago that we used to go to every blue moon. We went in there, and they had a Indian spiced gin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I was like, fine, I'll try it. Comes out, I've made it myself now.
Yeah.
It's if you like gin.
Yeah.
I literally did it with Gordon's at home because it was cheap, or Bombay, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they have a gin. It's a cardamom and ginger infused gin.
Yeah.
They use ginger beer rather than tonic.
Yeah, no, I've had that. Oh, yeah, I've had gin and ginger. It's amazing.
I mean, you put a bit of weight on. Ginger beer's a bit fattening. Holy shit, it's amazing.
It's a great summer drink. It's absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
if you haven't had it, drink it.
Yeah.
And you don't need to. I literally put cardamom seeds, fresh ginger in slices in a bottle of new fresh gin.
Okay.
Close the lid, stick it in a cupboard, and I leave it a month.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've got a beautifully infused cardamom and ginger gin.
I know what I'm doing after this thing.
It's that simple.
I'm going down to Carrefour
Mate,
and buy myself a bottle of gin.
Just buy a bottle of Bombay Sapphire. Don't be expensive. It is absolutely incredible flavour. And I bang a couple of cardamom pods on the top. and I put a bit of fresh ginger in to make it look nice. Put the ginger beer in. Oh my God.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. If you drink a lot of it, the problem is I think the first time I made a bottle, 2 of us drank the bottle that night.
Yeah, that'll happen to me. 100%.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there we go.
So one other thing I want to talk about, because I think we were talking about it the other day, and it's something I'm going to talk probably a lot about to a lot of different people because I want their opinions. There's general mental health. Now, I think there's been a lot going on about mental health.
Yeah.
And one of the things recently that really kicked it off was this whole name and shame on yachts.
Yeah.
And you must have been aware.
I'm not actually, so tell me about it.
I won't go into detail because it's pretty... I'm going to get myself in shit.
Okay.
But generally, somebody did something, somebody reported them, it did go to the police, and then they've put it on a Facebook group. One of the famous Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And from that, a lot of shit kicked off. I mean, there's been name and shame for years, of course, in the industry. But I think a lot of people felt in that case that it was a fact, not a debate.
Yeah.
Therefore, you know, what are groups about? Why are there Facebook groups if it's not for protection of people or warning people? I mean, you know, I'm talking about many aspects from being on a boat that doesn't pay very well.
Yeah.
On time.
Yeah.
Or doesn't pay at all, hasn't paid people at all, and people have left for that reason.
Yeah.
To difficult people to work with. Or the list goes on of why people could be named and shamed.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about that very delicate subject? I mean, you've worked in yachting a long time. Facebook groups are a huge thing in the industry. It's how a lot of people communicate.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are your thoughts on what your experiences of that are when there's been issues?
Being an older chef, getting used to Facebook or all those other online sort of profiles I'm a bit slow coming to the party. I'm starting to get into it, obviously, because I have a company and we have to use those sort of like...
You've been forced to be social.
Well, no, I just don't know how... I mean, at the beginning, no idea how to use it. And but the point is with those is, I mean, they're a great way of communicating. And everybody, the thing that I first came across was some chef had put on they'd been cooking on a Saturday, maybe they weren't on chart or whatever it is. They'd done they'd worked hard to put their food out there. And most of the comments were fantastic. Oh, well done, good for you. But then there was a really horrible comment about, why are you doing this? You know, you can't do that practically when we got guests on board and rah, 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 whatever it might be. And I just thought, you know, the guy's actually done some work, put some effort in. Whether you agree with the food or not, or whether you like it or you like the pictures or whatever, okay, why should you be negative about these things? You know, I think I'd like to be a positive person, but, you know, everybody makes mistakes and you do things. But to, you know, sit back in the protection of anonymity, you know, being, you know,
I can't say the word either.
Anonymous.
Should we both try and say it?
Anonymity. Whatever it might be. But being anonymous, and you can't, why would you pick on somebody, or why would you diss somebody's food, or do whatever that is? It's a negative. Why should you be negative?
I think negatives get more clicks.
Yeah.
I think that's mainly, you get more attention if you put a negative comment down. If you go, wow, that was brilliant, people go, well done.
Okay. Yeah.
If you put down something negative, people go, well, why was it negative? And then before you know it, you've got conversation and you're famous.
Yeah.
I don't mean famous, you're just...
Infamous, probably.
It's more about endorphins, and people are talking to you. You're included in the debate.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, there was, you know, you got recent things, not in our industry, but there was obviously a head teacher just decided to commit suicide because they got a bad review, or was going to get a bad review of their school. And the same thing happens on these websites and everybody else. You know, somebody has put a lot of effort into what they're doing, and you know, maybe, you know, I think somebody said to me once, "Walk in my shoes before you criticise."
Yeah, good idea.
And I think, you know, if you just making an instant decision, an instant click on these websites, and you say something bad or something negative, and it doesn't affect you, you walked away from that click. That's it. You finished. You've had your rant. You've had your say, and you're not thinking about it. But that person might be sitting there going, "Oh my God, my world has ended." You know, it's that serious. You know.
I think it is. I think on a yacht especially, it's a very confined space.
Exactly that.
You know, you can't get away from these people.
No.
And even if they pull into port, who do you go out drinking with?
Yeah.
You go out with the same people you're working with because those are the only people you know, because they're the only people you have a chance to know.
Yeah.
So you end up working with them, sleeping with them, drinking with them, arguing with them. Everything you do with these people, you have your break time with them, you eat your food with them, you sleep in a fucking bunk bed possibly in a room with the same person you're working with.
Yeah.
It's such an insular group that in reality, I'm surprised that it's taken this long for it to be really in the sort of yachting news.
Yeah.
If you work in a restaurant in the UK, for example, or here in France, wherever, you go home.
You go home, yeah.
When you leave, you go, right, I'll see you tomorrow. You may go to the pub with meet a buddy.
Yeah, or you go back to your wife, you have a little moan, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can get it out.
Or you got the weekend off.
You're the weekend,
or a couple of days off.
Or even it's just a Monday.
Yeah.
Or a Tuesday night or whatever it might be. You go off and you go bowling because that's your thing with your special glove, whatever it might be. You can go and play golf. You can get out and you're not with those people.
Yeah.
Yachting is incredibly difficult, and I don't think enough people give crew credit for the fact that they are in such an insular society. I worked in the Alps.
Yeah.
I used to have, you turn up, you've got a group of friends immediately.
Yeah.
Here's the 25 people you're going to spend the next 4 or 5 months with.
That's it.
Fine. But you have an opportunity to meet other people.
Exactly.
You meet other people in the pub, you go skiing with different people, you meet them in the gym, walking down the road, in the ski pass office, whatever it may be. In a restaurant, in a bar. Unfortunately, yachting, I would say, depending on the boat, anywhere from 60 to 90% of your time
is out
is
sea.
with that group of people.
Yeah, and you're out at sea, you're doing a crossing.
Can you imagine?
You can't get off the boat. You can't even, you're doing a crossing, you can't get off the boat. I see that as two things. Sometimes it's brilliant. I've done crossings, and you sort out a few games, you're doing parties, or you're doing something as you're doing the crossing to make it a little bit more
movie
night, whatever it might be.
Do you ever make crazy shit for movie nights on a boat?
Oh yeah,
for crew.
Just when we've had games like murder and stuff like that on a.
So you had murder as a game.
It was brilliant.
I think that's the sick kind of crew that you're hanging around with, where murder is a game.
No, we're talking about mental health. It's a bit worrying now.
First thing you tell me you've done for a bit of fun is a murder. You mean a murder mystery night?
Murder mystery or whatever it might be. And and they've been absolutely, and you've got great crew.
Great fun,
You've had some good times, and it's fabulous. Or you might be in, like say, movie night. You're watching like a series on Netflix or something like that, and you really get into it. And those are the fantastic times, and you love your crew, you get on well with it. But I've also been on a boat where people have been upset, or they've somebody's just got bad news or something like that, and they're away from home, and maybe that's the first time on a boat, and you need to keep an eye out for that. As you get older, when I was in my 20s or whatever it is on boats, or when I started about 29, I think I started. But when you start on the boat, you don't know these things, and if you don't have that strength of character, and especially these days when you expect to have instant messages, but you go do crossings, you don't always have that internet. And people do get upset, and people are missing home or missing people. I think it is coming up. People are talking about it. I think it needs more exposure. I think people need to learn how to handle certain things, especially when you're getting tired. You're doing 18 hours a day, and I think for chefs, we need to realise as chefs that we need to talk to people, because we're that classic. Hard, we're not talking, we can handle anything, we can do the hours, we can push it, and you do. But that's when you get tired, and that's when you get vulnerable.
And I think that's when people post things which might not be acceptable in a normal environment. And I think everybody needs to understand that when people post things on social media that can be judged pretty harshly by others, there's probably a fucking good reason why they've done it. They're in a very insular society. They've got nowhere to run and hide. And so it has to come out. Everyone who works on land has that ability. On boats, you don't. Even if you do rotation, it's still 2 months, man. It's come on. If I said to you, you've got to keep your mouth shut for a week, you go, fine, no problem, I'll do it. But you say to somebody, you've got to keep your mouth shut for 2 months, you'll go, fine, no problem. 10 days in, I guarantee you'll be turning to Susie going, have you seen what Duncan's up to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's inevitable. We're social creatures. Going to happen.
Are you picking on me?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I actually have a psychiatrist coming on in a few weeks.
Oh, wow. That's
to discuss this exact thing and to give some advice out on what people can do, because I think that it would be really helpful if people just had a few pointers on things they could do when things are rough, when things are tough, when you get bad news from home, when your life falls to pieces because the relationship is not what you want it to be with somebody very close to you on that boat.
Or more importantly, when your souffles collapse. So I should be joking about
I mean, if your souffles are collapsing, we'll get someone in to talk about that if you like. But no, and I think, I know it sounds silly, but if your souffle collapses, that could be the straw on the camel's back for a chef.
Exactly.
That's when it goes from a pretty bad day because of everything going on in the background to a shitty, awful day where they can say something to somebody that's very offensive.
Yeah.
Chefs swear.
Yeah.
That's the environment. I don't think it's bad. I think it's normal.
Yeah.
I swear. I can't help it. It's what I've always been like that. I don't know why. Probably. I'm not even going to say probably. Let's not go down that road. It's more of an emphasis.
Yeah.
That's why I swear. I think chefs use it as a way to emphasize something.
It's our communication.
Yeah. Where the fucking eggs means I should have probably put the eggs out before I started cooking this.
Yes.
Because I knew I needed eggs and I didn't do it. So you're being self-critical almost.
Oh yeah, I think chefs are so self-critical.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times you've cooked a food and it's great when you taste that food before you go out, and that's another tip I'll give to any chef: taste the food. No, I've done it myself. I'm in a rush. I put the food out, and you haven't tasted it. If you taste the food, it needs a little bit of your pepper that you were talking about earlier.
A bit of compote in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Campot black. Yeah.
But it's that moment. We're in a rush. We're under pressure. We do things. We don't taste the food. So taste the food. I've lost my point now. What we're talking about.
I can't remember what you're talking about either. But it's so true. You should taste your food. We were talking about mental health. We'll move on because we've been here a while, and I've no idea how long we have been in talking about it. Isn't it amazing how quickly it goes?
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to discuss with you was how much longer can. Again, I mean this with no disrespect. I don't know whether we're the same age, but we're the same age or not. I feel lucky because I can continuously run a business on land and sell food to people.
Yeah.
As a passionate person about food, it's a dream fucking job.
Yeah.
As a chef on a boat who's married, has a life on land, is extremely busy as the personal chef to somebody, so you're all over the place. How long can you do that before you go, I can't keep doing that? I'm done with this bullshit running around. How long do you think chefs can stay on a boat? Now, I think chefs and captains can probably stay on a boat longer than a lot of crew, and I mean that with no disrespect. Yeah. You can't have a 60-year-old deckhand usually. No. Nobody wants... Nobody... That's not true, nobody. I'm not going to say that. I would say a lot of owners would not want a 60-year-old chief stew. No. Right? In fact, I saw an advert recently, which I was absolutely shocked by on Facebook. I literally thought this is a wind-up, but it wasn't. And it said, looking for stewardesses for I can't remember the size of the boat, 42-metre boat. Went on about the job and the wage, everything. I thought, that's fair enough. I always read them because I'm nosy. Yeah. Get to the bottom, it says, must be comfortable wearing a bikini during service.
Wow.
I read it and went...
Only in yachting?
Yeah.
Only in yachting?
I would be fired if I... Imagine I put an advert out for office staff and went, must be happy wear a bikini on Fridays.
Yeah.
Well, you think it was madness. You go, get him.
I'm happy to do that job. I'm Bikini Friday.
Bikini Friday in the galley. Just you come out and just burns all over you.
I've just had my own picture of that and I don't like it.
Look like, your whole chest look like the guy from World Police where he's got bits of beard all over it. The rest of it's just burnt. Obviously captains and chefs obviously can go a lot longer, I think.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
But what for you, how long does it go? Do you think before you just go?
I think I think you've got to be truthful to yourself, and you have that point where, as long as you're still passionate, and I still am, My wife always thinks I'm mad. I get home and I start watching cookery programs, and I still
get MasterChef professionals on.
Yeah,
I want to see this guy fuck up the skills test,
I
so I can have a bloody good laugh.
I'm like, what the hell is it? It's great sitting on your sofa and go, oh, I could have done that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but I know damn well that I'd go out there and go, how do I truss a chicken again?
But when you watch the skills test, I know it's something I love watching it.
Yeah.
I'm literally on the edge of my chair sometimes when I see them fall to pieces.
Yeah.
I don't like to see that.
No.
It's great entertainment.
Well, no, it's great entertainment.
Of course, but it's the same as The Apprentice.
Yeah.
I love to see these, and I will call them morons.
Yeah.
Screw things up.
Yeah.
But you've got to put yourself in the position of where they are, which is very stressful,
Exactly.
camera in your face scenario. So let's not take that out of the equation because it's part of it. But have you ever seen a skills test yourself in the last 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you've gone, I'd have fucked that up 100%?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't know everything.
No, but
I mean, I'm cooking, like 40 odd years or something like that.
Yeah.
From 6, I started off at 6 years old or something cooking.
So you're 46.
A little bit older than that. Anyway, but the whole point is that, you see those skills tests, and most of the time you're sitting there, no, I could do that. And my wife's always pausing it and then going, how would you do that?
Yeah,
and I go,
yeah,
okay, do that, and that. And I think, okay, we'll watch it. And then most of the time I'm okay.
Yeah.
But there are
Does
times...
she pause it and say to you, come on then?
Yeah.
Let's see how good you are, mate.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing that ever happened to us was she sat there and said, oh, I love il flottant. And I'm drunk.
You got cookie and said, I'll make it now.
I just popped out around the corner. 5 minutes later, I come out. Here's your il flottant.
Is that any good?
Yeah, it was bloody good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I do love the show. I don't know why we got back onto that. I love the show because...
But how many cookery shows are about now?
Yeah,
everybody
loves. There's a Gordon Ramsay one.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
No, I've not seen it. But it's just how many cookery programs out there. It's amazing.
I find MasterChef's professionals are interesting for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
One, I love seeing an ex-yacht chef on there.
Yeah. I've met a couple of people.
I love that.
I've got a new stewardess who'd done the Swedish one.
Oh, for Christ!
And
I love watching that because I'm literally going, right, let's have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because I just love that. I always find the private chefs, the guys who work as private chefs, seem to have their shit together.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and it's the same on a boat as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether or not you're on charter, you're a private chef.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to deal with anything.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes into a skills test, it's like the boss coming on and going, I really fancy goat tonight.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
I've had that.
I've got to get goat sorted. Well, I'll just braise it safely. I'll just safely braise that because then I don't have to be too concerned. But
I go with my poppadom.
Go with my poppadom, yeah. Add a bit of Kashmiri chili in there. Everyone's happy. Get the poppadoms get the poppadoms out and the bargees.
Yeah.
But you have to deal with whatever is going to be thrown at you. And that's why I like seeing private chefs because they're the ones that can deal with that.
Yeah.
You very rarely get a restaurant chef. A lot of restaurant chefs on that show, not all of them, just a high percentage, they know how to do their menu.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And that's the case with a lot of chefs.
Yeah.
They can do a certain selection. And I'm the same, to be fair.
Yeah.
Could do a selection of stuff because if they're not classically trained, you can't do the other shit because you don't really understand how food works.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I can do a large variety of stuff.
Yeah.
But if somebody said, right, you've got to do that now, and I'd never done it, I'd be a bit panicky and go, I'm going to probably fuck this up. I mean, I'd love to go on MasterChef Professionals for a laugh.
Yeah.
Just so people could laugh at me.
Yeah.
I could say I've done it, but I probably wouldn't get through the skills test, which is impossible because I always put you through to the next bit.
Yeah.
I'd be the first person ever who'd have a breakdown on live MasterChef Professionals and not be able to go and do the next part.
No, I think you're putting yourself down a bit here, and I think that it will probably be how do you make lemon oil or something like that, and you'll be fine.
Like, are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
And I'd make it and go, that's not how you actually make it. That's how you make it, but that's not really how you do it.
Yeah, it's fascinating with cooking that you've how many different types of cooking, cuisines or things that you have to do, and how do you make a good curry? And one of the things that I was very lucky with was I met an Indian chef.
Oh, wow.
And they showed me a few tips, and I was like, wow, I've been doing so wrong.
Oh, really? So what would you say is the main thing that people do wrong with Indian cooking?
Well, it's you don't use. They use lots of oil. So when you put the oil in, they chop up ginger. They don't peel it.
Yeah.
They just chop it up really fine and just stick it in, and then they get that flavour of the oil. Now you might want just a mild curry, and they're only using salt and pepper.
Yeah.
They don't use any curry spices.
Yeah. Wow.
It is just pepper. And then by the time if you put a bit of coconut milk in there or whatever it might be, so they completely changed the way I did Indian cookery. And then you got the Asian cookery, and I was out in Thailand just the end of last year, and I decided with the wife, we'll just go to a Thai cookery school. And it was actually the same Thai cookery school that Gordon Ramsay went to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was
How long was it?
Just a day.
Just a day?
Just a day. And we did about 5 different dishes.
Bangkok?
No, this was down in Krabi.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic. The girl who taught us was brilliant. You know, she kept on saying, this will take you 10 minutes. It takes me 2 minutes. But it was amazing. And it was just simple ingredients put together. But one of the things they did there was where you would think you'd put everything into oil first, they just used coconut milk.
Yeah.
So the first thing they put into a pan was coconut milk. Then they crushed up all the ingredients, the lemongrass, the kaffir lime leaf, whatever it might be.
Makes sense, man.
And then they did it. It was amazing food.
Yeah.
So simple. And again, that just listening to that and doing these little courses everywhere, in different places.
See, that's one thing I think I should be doing more is when I do travel somewhere, is go and do a local food course.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go, you can do those courses.
Yeah.
And just having an insight into how that culture mixes their food, mixes their spices, heats their spices. I mean, obviously spices in Indian food, you put the oil and then the spices. Yeah. You get the flavour out of the spices when they get hot.
That's it.
That's why when you put pepper over pasta after it's come out of the water, you just pepper grinder straight over, and you put your head over, and it gives you the most beautiful pepper smell.
Exactly.
That to me is just something I just like. I smell it,
Little
and I'm
tips.
like, a bit of olive oil and some pepper, and go. It's like that says Italy.
That's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't need cheese, don't need a sauce.
Yeah.
I just need to smell that, and I'm immediately like, whoa, that's what it's all about. But the spices, mixing them, I remember an Indian chef I knew showed me some tips with mixing spices that I literally do now every time I cook. And he said, you don't need to do all that other shit. This is how you do it. Yeah. This is what somebody at home does in India.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 seconds, and it's the only way to get your flavour. Yeah. It's just like that. You don't need to watch these ridiculous recipes, and it takes 4 months. Really simple processes. Obviously, you make a nice tomato base, which is in a lot of curries, if that's your thing. But in reality, it's you put your spices in after the oil's hot. You cook the spice, get the heat out of it. Everything else goes in, and it's that's all I do now with a curry. I mean, it's beautiful.
I think the other thing with that is when you do your meat, is that people just shove up, your half a kilo of chicken or something, and you can't do that. You've got to do a few pieces at a time,
bit by bit,
because otherwise you're steaming it and you're not cooking it. You're not sealing it off properly, and so some things like these do need that little bit of patience.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's funny doing the ship's cook, because if you might have 5 people doing the course, and you've got curry on the menu, and you'll get 5. They've got the same ingredients.
5 different things.
You'll get 5 different curries.
Wow. Different heats, different flavours.
Yeah, different flavours, everything. It's amazing how.
I think that's what's good about Indian spices is they're depending how you mix them is how you get a flavour.
Exactly.
So as far as the ship's cook certificate's concerned,
yes,
surely I've heard a few things.
Oh, it's a bit contentious.
I've heard a few things, and one chef said to me, "How patronising." I said to him, "What do you mean?" He went, "If I can't cook,
what the hell am I doing there anyway?"
That won't take them long on board to know I'm a complete liar.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. He says, they're asking me to do things in that test. Not you, it's a syllabus.
No. Yeah.
I don't mean in that way.
We're providing a service.
Yeah, you're offering a service. You're training people and ticking boxes. They have to know how to do it to be able to get the certificate, to go on board. For what? Insurance?
Yeah.
Is it insurance or is it assurance?
They've, for what they've started off with, they obviously check in all the captains to start off with. They started checking the engineers to make sure that they're up to scratch.
But that's a CV.
Yeah, no, but the people have actually.
That's a certificate, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're a captain, have you got a license to drive this boat?
Exactly.
There you go. Have you got a license to manage staff?
Yeah.
Bit harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you got a license to put oil in the engine? Here's my certificate.
Yeah.
have you got a license not to lose your fucking mind on 12 pints of beer?
Yeah.
No, I haven't got a certificate for that because I do. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's going to be
how far'd you go?
There's going to be loads of people criticising ship's cook or whatever it might be, but it's being shown. If you are at our end and watching what goes on, that you do find chefs coming in, and they don't have a clue.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And remember, it's not about cooking for guests. It's about cooking for crew.
Yeah.
It's part of the MLC, Marine Labour Convention, and it was there to look after the crew. Yeah. So, we've heard so many stories from crew saying the chef can't cook, or the chef's not doing well-balanced food, or they're just cooking rice, or they might be just cooking pasta or something like that. You've got lots of great chefs out there that are passionate about what they're doing. And they could walk into the ship's cook and breeze it, and they can do it. But there are chefs out there that can't.
But what happens when you have a chef come in who doesn't have the skill level?
Well, they don't pass.
But what happens to them? Do they get treated? Do you train them?
No,
so they can do the test again.
Yes, we give them. Obviously we give them all the chance, and it's also it's all for different grades of chef. And
of course,
are you going for like a little 30-meter boat, or if you work in a 100-meter boat, or whatever it might be?
Different game, innit?
Yeah, different game. But with those people, we tell them, say, look, you haven't passed because of this, or this. And to be honest with you, by the time they've got to that stage, they know they haven't passed.
Yeah.
And they realise that they maybe haven't had the training. And then you go away and say, well, look, here's some advice. Maybe you've just nerves.
Yeah, and I think that's true. Look, we see on MasterChef, we talked about that before. Yeah. Nerves can be the killer of anything on a test. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we don't we're not every week, we're not like failing people. But, it would be, it's my responsibility as someone who's judging that to say, well, I'm sorry, you can't cook.
Yeah.
To the level
as a chef, it's over.
Can you play tennis?
Are you any good at polishing chrome?
Yeah, be a deckhand. No, sorry, deckhands.
That sounded really. We both we cut that bit out.
But no, I think it's to the chef you talk to. I feel for you. Especially if you've done your city and guilds or your H or wherever it was, is now. But when you did that test, you didn't know about stuff that goes on the boat, and you are on the boat. You can't just ring up because you've forgotten your order. Well, unless they ring you up.
No, but that's another thing. I mean, do you talk about provisioning in this thing? Because I think, I as a provisioner, if that's what you want to call me, I personally call myself a flavour expert.
As well as providing provisions.
Yeah, but in reality, I've seen it for years. Middle of the summer, boat in port, has been there since Thursday. Yeah. Monday morning, I get an immediate order needed. Milk, chicken breast, chicken thighs, few bits and pieces, but grand's worth of stuff for crew. It's crew food mainly. Because the chef's had a few beers on the weekend, he's gone, I'll deal with that later. Yeah. And then Monday morning he realised he hasn't got enough food for tonight's dinner. Yeah. He'll scrape through lunch by the skin of his teeth and tell everyone they need to be on a diet and be careful because they're on the piss all weekend. He'll get away with that as well. Yeah. Yeah. But if he's clever, he'll get away with that. But in reality, he knows he's fucked for dinner. Yeah. And he's got no milk left. Yeah. So he runs to the shops and buys 2 litres just for breakfast. Yeah. And then he orders it. And it's kind of a lot of pressure because we've got all these orders on your board, which people have put in 3, 4, 5 days in advance. Yeah. Good clients, always prepared and organised. And then a really good client, it's just had a big one on the weekend. Do you know what I mean? It happens, doesn't it? Yeah. Back to the pressure of the job, back to the fact of I'm working 18-hour days for the last 2 weeks on a charter. I need my time. Yeah, exactly. I get that too, Yeah. But do you I mean, how do you tell people about that, provisioning? What do you say?
First of all, when we do it's an examination that they're doing, but we try to, within that course or the examination, we like to explain a few things that go on the boat. Remember, you could walk into the galley, that is your world, but there's a world outside of that galley. So we do need to talk about ISM. We need to know about man overboard procedures. We need to know about firefighting because that's what you do. You're self-sufficient on that boat. Now, you also have a responsibility to the crew.
Isn't most of that in the STCW 95?
Well, yeah, so that's part of the STCW, but you need to be reminded of that. But also with that, it's about how do you provision? You know, you are doing an Atlantic crossing. I bought myself a load of, beautiful lettuce leaves. Well, they're not going to last 2 weeks.
Well, they're done by Tuesday.
So you need to order some iceberg or something like that, or some romaine lettuce.
What about storing?
Yeah, well, it's
storage, because I
exactly.
If you stick your bananas next to certain stuff, or your avocados, you could have problems.
But why not order
half
unripe
ripe and half? Well, of course,
exactly.
Yeah, but I look, if I see somebody ordering 20 avocado, unless I've got a good impression they're having a guacamole party, right? I know to give them 10 ripe and 10 unripe. That's normal.
That's the service you provide.
Of course, but that's why people use you, and that's why it's the price it is, because we know that. Same for mango. You don't give them 20 to eat today ripe mango. That would be fucking madness. Unless they phone me and say, we're having a mango festival tonight.
I want to go to that party.
The boss is having a right big one. We're having gin and we're having mango with avocados to make sure they're ripe. You know that's very rare.
Yeah.
So that's kind of part of what you expect your provision to help you with if they know their shit.
Yeah.
But how does a chef keep shit in its best condition if you're at sea for a long time? I mean, if you're doing a crossing, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you get a big order of fruit and veg and you're crossing, it could be 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you do a crossing, it's going to be 14 days.
14 days.
And then I would always recommend to a chef to go, you've done that, then you can add another 10% or 15%
of wastage
of either wastage or that you might be hit bad weather.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you maybe a couple more days.
Yeah.
You don't want to be getting 2 days out and you go, oh, sorry, we've got nothing left.
It's beans.
And it's a really simple method. Yeah. You print yourself out a calendar, whether you turn around and write down, okay, we've got beef on Monday, fish for the evening, and then we're going to be doing.
So you plan your menu for the whole time.
Plan your menu for
then
that.
you order accordingly.
And you order accordingly.
But how would you keep berries fresh on a boat?
So berries,
strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, cranberries, snasberries.
Well, first of all, I'm cooking for crew, so they're not having it. So
they're not having that.
They're not having that.
You
it's
can
too
give them Driscoll raspberries because they're awful.
Well,
get sued now. They'll be on the phone later.
My big thing with those soft fruits and stuff like that is the fact is that people don't. They always go for the nicest ones, and they're the ones that you've got some on Monday. Yeah. You get a new batch on Wednesday, and you put. Like any rotational, you put them at the back, and then some stewardess will come in and go, "Oh, they're the nicer ones."
I'll
have a take it. But I understand it. It looks brighter. It looks nice. Yeah. So they come and take those.
But you give berries to crew.
If I have berries that I bought my new batch of berries in for the guest, then I'm going to use the berries up.
If you've got any left over, then you'll bang them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, looking after them, you've just got to make sure you. If you're lucky enough to work on a big enough boat and you've got a lovely fridge, then you're gonna use that fridge. But then it's on the smaller boats that you're going to have problems. So you need to know that at that beginning of your trip across the Atlantic, is you're using those berries up in that first few days.
Yeah.
And then you
cook accordingly.
It's not rocket science.
No, of course.
But people don't always understand that. As a young chef coming into that, I've learned that sort of stuff because of experience, because my berries have gone off.
I mean, one thing I've always said to chefs when they, new chefs in the industry, I say, make sure you at some point buy a second thermometer for your fridge.
Yeah.
And he's gone, why? I go, the one that says the temperature on the outside
100%.
isn't true.
Yeah.
That's like the fantasy dream level of what you want your fridge to be.
Yeah.
But actually, the temperature inside, that could have been there who knows how long.
Yeah.
How many times has that been open and closed?
100%.
Let's be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I've even had a chef in the early days of me being in this industry where I went on board his vessel. He showed me around. I walked into the walk-in fridge. I went, what temperature is that? He went, oh, it's 5. I went, it's not.
No,
it's 15.
Yeah.
He went, what do you mean? I said, it's 15 degrees minimum or maximum, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
He was like, I went, mate, it's not 5. This fridge is fucked. And he went, is that why all my stuff's going off quick?
Yeah.
I said, when you called me 3 weeks ago and called me
Yeah.
I said, well, it wasn't my fault, mate. I said, the salad went off because you got it in this fridge.
Yeah.
And he actually phoned me a couple of days later. He had a specialist, one of those guys from the freezer company, and came in, and the motor was fucked. It wasn't turning properly. Yeah. The condenser was had to be replaced. The engine of it, the what's his name, had to be changed because the fan wasn't even blowing.
Yeah.
Afterwards he went, I'm so glad I could actually cook now, fresh food. But yeah, it must be a challenge on board to keep food fresh for a long time if you're crossing or going long. I mean, if you left here and went to Greece, how many days is that?
Well, anywhere
5,
4,
7?
5. It depends on what boat you're on. But I've gone down to Greece, and it's taken on a faster boat and been down there within 5 days. Yeah. Been on another one. It's taken me sort of like a week on an old sailboat.
So what do you do if you're going off from south of France? Is pretty easy to get kind of most things that you need. I mean, not everything. It takes time, but most shit you can get here. What happens when you go to Greece and Turkey? And
I'll tell you a different story.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll like this one. So I was very lucky enough to work on and still work on this boat, and but we did the Northwest Passage.
Okay.
And so having this food come in at different places as we're going through ice, and we're going, this is a certain route that you go through, and that's fine. We'll had to organise different planes to fly food into, from the provisioning company in Yellowknife. That was it, a place called Yellowknife. Great company, really nice, did a great job. But then, so you had to decide what you had to do all your menus beforehand. You then had to decide what you were having at a certain time. And then, halfway through the trip, captain saying, we might not make where we're going to landfall because the ice is coming in close, and we were drifting through, and you heard the ice going down the hull.
Oh, really?
And everybody is on tender hooks or whatever it is, and just going, oh my God, what's happening? But we made it through. But the funny thing was ringing up this company and saying, can you move the plane? Can it go to somewhere else? So that was, that job was scary and amazing at the same time. To sit down, and the amount of work and effort I had to put into that, to think about what we're having in, when we're going to have it in, when will this stuff carry on for, how many people would use it. We got a full boat, full amount of crew, plus guides and explorers and all that. And then we obviously had the guests as well. So you're trying to figure out, well, I'm not just doing food for the guests. I have to work out what we're going to do for the crew. And we're not our usual 20 crew. We're now 26 crew.
How many chefs?
Right, just 2.
So I love that, just the 2.
Just the 2, and a very small galley as well. But that was fascinating, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it, because it was a real problem-solving thing.
And do you think experiencing something like that taught you quite a lot quite quickly, therefore now hanging around the Med, piss easy? What, Greece? Yeah, no problem.
Oh, yeah, you can get anything.
Yeah. You can get anything in Greece.
Yeah, well, I ring you up and you send it down.
Well, of course.
In this day and age, you can fly things down.
These days you can get stuff flown. Yeah. I think we're taking stuff out to Egypt next week.
Yeah.
But you can pretty much get things most places. But there's some places you can't go.
Oh, yeah.
They just won't accept it.
We're out to Galapagos again.
Well, again, the Galapagos is a great example. Yeah. But even Doha for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Not happening.
No. Yeah.
Very, very difficult. In fact, stuff went to Dubai, and then the boat picked up and then buggered off to Doha because Doha hadn't got their shit together.
Yeah.
I mean, that with no disrespect, they had a lot going on with the World Cup. Let's be completely fair. They had a very big event, and I don't think people really considered the fact that maybe yachts were going there. But every yacht that I've dealt with had their stuff get to them in Dubai, because getting it to Doha it just wasn't set up for it.
I was in Caribbean February time, and this is the first time this has ever happened. So all organised, got the order coming in, flown down from America down to where we were going, and they took all the pineapples, they took the mangoes, they took the passion fruit. When it flew into the island. I imagine it's sort of like, well, okay, they're taking these fruits because maybe they're selling them on the island, and they think it's reduced. They don't get any money out of it. So I think, okay, that'd be fine. I'll go out shopping and I'll go and get some more pineapples, some more mangoes and stuff. Couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
They didn't sell it, all because they'd imported it over to America.
Yeah.
So why are you taking my mangoes, or why are you taking my...
Why?
I've got no idea.
You still don't know. Where would you go into?
So that was down near the Grenadines.
Okay.
As one of the islands around that area. And I couldn't understand why. To this day, I don't understand why.
In most of the places, it makes sense to me. If you're in a Muslim country, you can't send alcohol and pork.
Yeah, fair enough.
In some places, you can sell pork, but it's a 50 or 100% tax.
Yeah.
It's not being imported into the country; it's transiting through. So
we
it's
paid
we
paid $9,000 in tax.
Yeah.
On that order.
Yeah.
And so I mean, people have to make money. In the islands or whatever it is. So that is what it is.
I mean, talking of money, it comes to a subject I'm probably going to do a podcast just about it, but about prices.
Yeah.
Because
especially now.
Yeah. Now is horrific. I mean, mangoes.
Yeah.
The good ones, not this bullshit. I'm talking about quality food here, not crap, not bananas from Carrefour, not courgettes. I'm talking about the really high-end stuff. The prices have gone through the roof. Well, to be fair, courgettes have gone through the roof. We're talking about basic crap. Just normal, straight down the middle courgettes have gone up. Cucumbers have doubled. Everything's gone through the roof. I personally, I smell a rat in the house. Very similar to how I smelt it when the euro came in. Yeah. The euro came in and everybody saw it as an opportunity to put their prices up and take the piss.
Yeah.
So I'm very aware that and it's big business mainly, they see an opportunity and go, we haven't had a proper hike for a while, let's bang everything up. They do it with the oil, they do it with everything. But food is one of those things that people go, right, that's what that should cost. Yeah. I know how much a bag of rockets should cost me in the supermarket, or a 24-pack of toilet roll, or a deodorant. Now, I know how much my toothpaste is. And so when it starts to rise at the levels it has, people are going to be a little bit more careful. Okay, we're dealing with yachts. They've got the money, but it doesn't mean they want to be ripped off.
No, 100%.
And that's important for people to know. Is just because you're a yacht doesn't mean you should have the piss taken out of you.
No.
Okay, that's not how it works.
No.
Because if you're taking piss, people just leave you in droves.
Yeah.
The problem with it is right now is the prices are so high, whatever you charge, you look like you're taking the piss.
Yeah.
And it's not just the food price.
Yeah.
For a business like ours, everything's gone up.
Yeah. But also,
even wages for staff has to go up.
Yeah.
Everything's going up.
Also, what people don't understand on yachts is tax.
Yeah.
I'm
doing a podcast about that.
Oh, good. Because when you run a company, you are taxed.
Yeah.
I pay tax. My company pays tax.
Absolutely.
And that's another part of the company. As a yachty, you don't pay tax. Hopefully, you do your tax. You look after your tax in the right way, and you go and see these good companies to deal with your tax. But as a company in France, you pay French tax, and it can be up to like 30% at times, and
if not more.
If not more,
cases.
Exactly, yeah. And that keeps going up.
I mean, tax on wages in France, double it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, you give one person €1, you give the government €1. That's pretty much where it stands.
Exactly, yeah.
There's extras on top of that, may I add, but that's pretty much where it stands. Yeah. So if you're on a boat earning $4,000 a month, and you want to work on land, dream on.
No, exactly.
Ain't happening.
Anybody coming out of yachting,
which is why it's very difficult to walk out of yachting.
Be prepared, because it's hard.
Yeah. And if you think about it, now is even more so.
Yeah.
Not only will your wage massively decrease, but also you're going to pay tax.
Yeah.
And you've got to pay for all those things like your toothpaste.
Yeah.
Your razor blade. Have you seen how much razor blades are?
Yeah.
You want to buy a Gillette handle?
20 euros?
14 to 20, depending on the one you buy. And a pack of 4 blades, another 20 to 35 euros.
Yeah.
Depending on the one you buy.
Yeah.
And that's just to shave.
Yeah.
We haven't even gone to work yet. We haven't even left the house.
Yeah.
Haven't had a beer in a pub, nothing.
Yeah.
All that disposable income you had,
yeah.
all of your wages were disposable. And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
No.
People are saving, they're buying houses and apartments, of course.
Best advice.
But in reality, you don't go, will I be able to pay my rent this month? Because you live on a boat.
Yeah.
Do I have to worry about toothpaste? No, it's there.
Yeah.
All of these, food, boom.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you've got to have those meals and pay for them. Living on land is obviously a difficult and a different game, I'd say.
Yeah.
But back to the prices are horrendous.
Yeah.
How do you think the yachting industry is going to deal with that this year? They've always, the last many years, been very price conscious.
Yeah.
but chefs know if you want the quality, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
The argument I'd have to say now is that if you want the service, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
If you send me an order on a Tuesday and want it Wednesday, that costs more than you give me an order on a Tuesday and having it next Tuesday.
You've got to have somebody taking out your planning.
You have to completely change your plan.
Change your plan.
We have a plan at 5 p.m. We do a plan.
Yeah.
And by 7 o'clock in the morning, it's completely changed.
Yeah.
Every day, all through the summer.
Yeah.
You have to completely rearrange the logistics of where the vans are going, who's doing what, extra orders have come in.
So you're saying to me that as if I'm a well-organized chef on a boat, and I give you 5 days to sort my order out, it's going to be cheaper.
Yes, 100%.
Fantastic.
And even better than that, if you use my online ordering system, that's where it really kicks in, because you don't need 5 days to get it cheaper. If you send me an Excel spreadsheet that I have to take out of that, completely rearrange, separate it, translate it,
that's
I've got to pay someone to do all that.
You've got to pay someone to do that. Yeah.
That's costing me 20 to 30 euros an hour just to do that. Then quote it and then send it back to you for you to confirm. Yeah. You then give it to the captain. Yeah. He's busy.
Yeah.
He has a day. Then he sends it off to somebody. They have a day at management. Then it finally comes back to you and you say, Damian, I need it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you more money.
Exactly.
I've just given you a quote 4 days ago.
Yeah.
It's complete. Fish prices have changed. And right now this year, fish prices, dairy prices, fruit and veg prices are daily changing.
Daily changing.
Before I used to go, right, those are my fruit and veg. That's my meat prices. Fish was always a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I know how much a pint of milk's going to cost. No problem there. It's not. It's changing all the time now.
Are you sure you know what a pint of milk costs? Because I didn't see any today.
Well, no, we don't have it in here because we all drink oat milk. Yeah. How incredibly forward-thinking we are. But the thing about it is, it's you know, our online ordering. So I'm not bragging about it, but generally you fill in. I think you've had a look. You fill it in. Yeah. You press bang. It comes out the other end with a quote. Our end. Yeah. We then just check the quantities, make sure the kilo is a kilo, not 1.4, whatever it may be. Yeah. We look at the notes in the note section. It says I can only order fillet, but I actually want 5 kilos, whatever. Yeah. We change it and then we send it back. Yeah. Because all the prices we put in, and we have somebody every day checking the prices. Because if you don't, you're fucked. Yeah. So that means we get a quote quicker. And if you get your quote even 24 hours before previous, that means it's an extra day we have to do the order. Yeah.
I think for chefs, right, so it's not, you know, yes, it's the chef's responsibility to put the order in, but I think also...
It's not his decision to say yes.
It's not his decision to say yes. It's the captain's decision or management company. And they don't fully understand for
time
prices.
Constraints.
Now, I work for a company. Not only have my own company, but I work when I'm doing my chefing. We have a big management company, and you've got someone in accounting saying, why have the prices gone up? Why are you spending this much? Why have you gone over budget? And I was explaining, and I was up in Courchevel, and I was explaining that a simple apple tart in Courchevel.
Oh, you say a tart in Courchevel, grand a night.
This one's a little bit cheaper.
I'll cut that bit out.
So no, I think you should keep it in. But anyway, so there's this apple, just a simple apple tart in a bakery was 39 euros.
What size?
Oh, you get 6 portions out of it. Right. Only 6 portions out of it. Now,
I mean, to be fair, a professional chef should make it himself.
No, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't buying it. I was just looking at tarts in the window.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another tip.
Your bakery's as good as that one down the road,
exactly.
Chef. Thank you very much.
So you're trying to explain to somebody that that you're basically in Saint-Tropez in the wintertime. Yeah. They've got a small window.
It's even harder to get food up there.
Harder to get food, but they still have a simple window where they're going to make money. They're not making money in the summer. It's empty. It's going to be empty. You might get a few walkers, but basically it's empty.
You're absolutely right. I think a lot of people forget that we're in a holiday resort. We're right now, for anybody who doesn't know, we're in the south of France.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't matter where you go. Yeah. All the way through Italy, all the way through down towards Rome, down towards Naples, Sorrento, down towards Positano, through the Greek islands. There's no one there in December.
No.
It's a summer resort. Corsica, Sardinia, it's even less of a season we have here. We're lucky. We're on the mainland. We have a bit more of a season. Yeah. But this is a summer holiday resort. It's dead for many months. I live near Juan Le Pan. the tumbleweed is rolling through the streets. There's not a soul around most of the time.
Yeah.
I could go...
Half the houses are rented.
Half the places are rented out for summer rentals only. Yeah. They're empty also. You see all the barriers down.
Yeah.
People forget that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're running a business in a place like that, you only have a limited time to make money. I remember from a guy I know from Corsica told me, he said, Damian, it's a 6-week season.
Yeah.
I said, what? He says, 6 weeks. He says, that is when we're busy. The rest of the time, yes, probably another 6 weeks we've got a bit of business.
Yeah.
He goes, but it's only 12 in total.
Yeah.
He goes, 6 are okay, you get by. 6, you're making money. That's why they used to charge 89 euros a kilo for really low-grade beef.
Yeah.
Because they've got to get it to Ireland. They've got to hopefully sell it.
Yeah.
Half of it goes in the bin.
Yeah.
They've got to add the margin to the stuff they are selling.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to these places, you're going to have to pay.
That's it.
And that's the problem.
With these problems with Ukraine and the fuel.
Don't even start with me on that. Yeah, it's made it a nightmare. But I think a lot of people don't know the difficulties in running a business. Again, not moaning. It's my choice. I can go and work in Carrefour if I like. I don't have to sit here and moan about it. But the reality is that if people want the best product and the best service, in the food industry especially, there's always waste.
Yeah.
So you have to add that in. You know, if I have to go and buy something I get this quite a lot. Can you add to my order that's leaving in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what we're here for. We're a premium service. So the answer's fucking yes. If you're happy for me to be 10 minutes late, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, get it. But that means a driver, a van, peage, fuel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we're probably screwed our day up in some shape or form because that driver now can't do what he was supposed to do afterwards because the shop might be closed or whatever it may be.
It's lunchtime.
In France, it's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. They're closed.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. So all of these things fit into it, and it's not complaining. It's just let's have a reality check. If you want the best product and the best service, it's going to be expensive, and it's not because provisions take the piss.
And some chefs might turn around and say, "Well, it's not my problem; it's your problem."
No, it is your problem because I've got to give you a bill,
exactly,
and you've got to stand in front of the captain and go, "No, that's fair."
Agree with that 100%. And it's like this is one thing that I'd say to chefs is take your time to gain that knowledge, to understand, because you're going to be the one in front of the captain or the guest or the management company telling them why is this fish this price? Why am I spending this money? And you can't just go, well, that's what they charge me. I'm terrified to see the fish prices once the season starts. Yeah. They're already, right now, the prices they were in July last year. Wow. Right now. Yeah. That's the price. I'm paying sea bass, you wouldn't believe. We're buying it at what we were selling it for last year. But if you, as a chef, you do have a responsibility to understand those figures. Now, I know most chefs, and we took up cooking because we're probably not that bright. Unfair. Well, maybe I loved cooking because I was passionate about cooking. The Mensa, the chefs who are parts of Mensa will be on the phone. Yeah, later. Exactly. We're going to upset somebody in this podcast at some point. I think we'll probably upset everybody today. But we're not probably the sort of sharpest tool in that, but we're really we understand cooking, we understand food, and we're probably a little bit frightened about figures. Yeah, definitely. Yeah? I know I was. I am. At the beginning, when I first started, I was like, I don't understand it. I'll ignore it. Yeah. But until you actually find that knowledge, find out why something, ask somebody who knows. Ask you. But that's the reason for these podcasts to a certain degree. So I've got some really good producers coming in. Great. Not just producers, distributors coming in. So I've got all the way from farm to fork. Yeah. I've got restaurateurs coming in. Yeah. I've got people to explain what they do, how do they get it done, how difficult it is to create these things, not exactly what they spend. They're never going to tell us that. No. But I have some great people coming in, and the whole idea of those conversations is to educate not everybody listening. Me. I want to know. Me too. Why is the truffle so expensive, and why is it so shit in the summer? What is the difference between Wagyu and Wagyu? Because it's not all the same. No, it's not. Right? Most people 100%. Don't understand. They go, can I have Wagyu? Yeah. I've had the best thing that I had from you last summer was Kobe. So you have your Wagyu, and then you have your Kobe. Yeah. And that was a completely different game. Absolutely. It was the best piece of beef I've ever tasted. When you go into Wagyu and start looking at the different types. You're going to have a podcast on this soon. I'm going, very soon, next week.
And I mean, I don't know when I'll put it out, but I'm filming it next week. It's for me, it's one of the most important ones because, so many people just say, "I'll need some Wagyu next week," and that's great, but I need more information.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to keep asking people that because they're busy.
Yeah.
Chefs are busy, and the longer you take to reply, the more difficult it is for me to find the product. And all I really want to achieve is getting it on the boat at the right time at the right price.
Yeah.
And I want my staff to have an easier time. I want them to go home so they can live their life. But we need to get the orders right. Yeah. So I want to bother you the least amount I possibly can. So I think a podcast about Wagyu in particular, and Black Angus as well, is really handy for a lot of people to really understand what the difference is in each of the products.
And don't always have to order Wagyu. You know, this is the
Black Angus. If you go and buy Rangers Valley Black Angus, even the Creekstone Black Angus from the US at the minute is kick-ass. But I've been selling prime fillets at the minute. Yeah. And a chef's literally right this week in Monaco. He went, Damian, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I can't remember the name of it now, but there's a beef from Ireland. No, can't remember the name of it, but it is. They're using it up in Courchevel.
I've got some coming.
You know the one I'm talking about,
I can't tell you what it is. No. It's taken me a long time to get.
Another one, but it's the
farmer.
That's it. We are talking about the same one. Yeah. And I was so amazed at that.
It's amazing.
They hang it. Yeah. They do their magic on it, and it is absolutely.
It's amazing. And that's actually this year's we're going to have that option where you don't have to buy Black Angus and because if you come from Australia and America, it's obviously going to cost you a shitload more. But we're actually buying it direct from Ireland this year.
Brilliant.
And we're having all the different cuts, and it's actually at a price where you can put it in your fridge or your freezer. Of course, you're going to put it in your freezer, and if you needed to feed the crew, it's not a price that you can't. Which actually, and I love those products because that's what I call a safety net for a chef. If you can pull a fillet out that the crew would have going to have, and it's a good price for them, but in an emergency, you can give it to the guests and do something 100%. Cool with it.
And that beef is amazing.
Man, that is the dream ticket for a chef. Have a product that you can use for crew and guest if you needed to. If you're in a bit of a pickle, you pull that entrecôte out. What's it called in English?
You've got
ribeye.
Hold on a minute. That's American.
So you take your ribeye out, and you know it's good for crew and guests. Yeah. I mean that's a winner.
It's definitely a winner.
Any product like that.
But it's also understanding that this is a great one. Another little tip is most of the time, especially with my job at the moment, is that I have to go out and talk to the guests, and it's part of your entertainment. Yeah. They love food. They love all the
1%.
They love all these chefs shows and stuff. But you go out there and you talk to them and you say, and you need to have a story when you walk out there. It's entertainment. We're in the entertainment business, and I know chefs.
That's so true.
I know so many chefs are like they just want to cook, stay in the galley, don't want to talk to anybody, but go
out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky in a way that we do quite a lot of teppanyaki on the boats that I work on, and I'm nowhere near a teppanyaki chef, but I love doing it. Yeah, and you're out there and having to talk.
Do you use the Japanese coal?
No, these are just hot plates.
Oh, you're just using a hot plate. It's not the grill.
No, it's not the grill. It's just it's a teppanyaki. It's a teppanyaki, but it could be you're just using a solid plate.
You like a plancha.
Plancha. That's the word.
Okay, yeah.
But and we use that. I don't just do teppanyaki. I don't just do Asian. I do all sorts of food on there. The fish or whatever it is, but it's fresh. It's cooking them instantly. But they're asking you questions.
Yeah.
And it's like you're having to flip food around and at the same time talk to people.
You need to have a bit of knowledge about the product.
And that's the point. You walk out there and you go, oh, it's steak. Yeah. Well, what steak? Is it Wagyu? And then trying to tell people that, okay, Wagyu's not everything.
Yeah.
Like, I could give you Wagyu.
To be fair, Wagyu is one of those products that you can do very little to it and get a great flavour. Yeah. So in some respects, it can be a bit of a game changer in the sense of if you don't know or don't have the highest of skill level with a product like beef, you can create still amazing dishes because it kind of is doing some of the work for you, but that's one of the reasons why it's expensive.
And keep it simple. Yeah.
And that rib cap Wagyu, those little pieces, really nice. Putting that on a plancha and cooking them in front, it's beautiful stuff. Yeah. Really
and don't
simple.
mess with it.
Don't need to do much to it.
Yeah.
You just heat it, it's another reason why I have cool ingredients.
Yeah.
That not a lot of people want.
Yeah.
But I've got some chefs every year that go, I need some more. I've got this agave worm salt.
Yeah, I've tried it.
I think you tried it.
And
it's a smoked salt.
It's amazing.
It's kick-ass. Yeah. Now, on a menu, if you wrote that, it comes with, but people can say, I don't want that on my dish if they don't want it.
Yeah.
But it's a cool little, if you're doing a special menu and you've got dressed with, agave worm salt, people will be like, well, what the hell's that? Yeah. It's quite exciting. That's what food's about. Is imaginative.
So I used that last summer, and so I didn't tell them.
Oh, do you not tell them?
But I told them afterwards.
After. Shit, what did they say?
And they were like, wow,
what's your new boat like?
Oh, try this, boss. But no, it's like, have this, try this, and then everybody's like, oh wow, what is it? And then you tell them, so just enjoy, tell me if you like it. Oh man, we love it. It really changes the flavour. It does everything. I'm really excited about that. And then you tell them, and then it's like, well, I've had it.
What was the impression?
No, it's first of all, it was a little bit of shock, but then at the same time they go, well, that was lovely, actually.
Yeah. I think it's a cool product.
Again, it's a story.
Yeah, cool stuff like that. That's what food's all about. Is having those little cool ingredients you can throw in the mix.
And where's it come from? Is it like?
Mexico.
Is it?
As in
no, whatever it might be. I mean, we had some French Wagyu from you.
Yeah.
It was a French Wagyu cross between Aberdeen Angus and Wagyu. And again, to say to people, well, I haven't gone to Australia to bring it in.
And I don't think people. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think people love this whole local thing. Something I was going to ask you about is why do we always think it's like in Britain we've got this thing, it's British beef. Well, I know what British beef is like.
Yeah.
You need to fucking do something with it because it ain't that great. And Britain can have a crack at me if they like. You're going to need a long arm.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm not a believer that just because it's from your country, it's great. For example, red peppers come from Spain at the moment.
Yeah,
they're awful. If I put a blindfold on you and put it in your mouth,
what the pepper?
You wouldn't know what I'd put in your mouth. But if I gave you a French red pepper in the middle of July, you'd immediately crunch it and have the texture, the smell, the taste, everything, and go, whoa. But there's a big difference.
And I know you.
If you live in Spain, don't tell me red peppers are the best.
And I know
as
a supplier, you go down to, for example, the fruit and veg you get from Carrefour is not the same as the fruit and veg that you supply.
Oh God, no! Fuck.
No, it's completely different. Exactly.
And I'll tell you a few
there are different
things.
grades of those.
And there's a few things about it. It's like what really winds me up, as the life I have. What really pisses
this is
me
Mr.
off.
Angry, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting angry now. No, I get really annoyed when, and they can say it to me. It's fine. It's like I said, it's just conjecture. That's the whole point of this debate. When chefs say to me, oh, I went to market, it's amazing, isn't it? No, it's not amazing. I buy that fucking fruit and veg, yet it's kept at the right conditions.
Yeah.
You've gone and bought fruit and veg from a stand that's changed. Generally, what that's been is in 5 degree overnight.
Yeah.
They've taken it out of that fridge. They've put it in a van in many cases, which has no refrigeration.
Yeah.
Which could be at 15, 16, 17 in the morning.
High summer. Yeah.
They then take it and stick it on the market, sitting out all day. If it's not purchased in 25 to 30 degrees, maybe 35 degrees, maybe 40 degrees, it's then stuck back into the non-refrigerated van, which is now 100 degrees, and it's driven to their depot and it's put in their fridge, which is now 5 degrees, probably, maybe not even that low, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not having a go at Provençal markets. I'm saying this is the score. Yeah. This is what they are. They're to sell fruit and veg for you to have today, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, not for you to have on your boat for the next week.
No, 100%.
So by all means, go and buy it at the market. But don't pretend for a minute it's the same as what I'm giving you, because it ain't.
Oh, here's something I want to bring up about provisioning. And it's... I'm gonna have upset captains now, but this thing about we believe as captains, we're telling you that as a chef you've got to go to the market or you've got to go to the supermarket because it's cheaper, and first of all, if you're cooking for 20 odd crew maybe or 20 or with guests or whatever it might be, the standard of Carrefour food with, like as you said, isn't the same quality as that we expect to give to guests. But if we're saying the captain wants to save money, and he thinks I think it's a fallacy where they think that they're saving money by going to a supermarket.
Well, the problem with that is it's the temperature it's capped at. You don't know how old it is. They've got to turn stock over. Yeah. So it's stock rotated. Yeah. I buy it from the supplier, gives me the stuff at the back that's fresh today because I pay him more.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Here's a simple one. So chefs, if you're listening to this, and you should be listening to this, is you've got 2 eggs a day per crew, let's say, for breakfast. They're having breakfast, or you're baking it, or whatever you might be. So you've got 20 crew. So each day you're going to do 40 eggs, yeah, just for breakfast, right? So you're going to go away for 10 days. So that's 400 eggs. Okay, then you're going to probably add another 100 eggs on because you might be doing bakery, or you might be doing something else, or suddenly there's a need for something else. But basically you've got 500 eggs. I'm not going to go down to Carrefour and buy 500 eggs because it won't fit. It will fit the whole trolley.
Yeah,
literally.
You're not getting anything else.
Yeah, you're not getting anything else. You're going to fill up your little car.
Of 6 in a box, or 10 in a box.
Yeah. Or if you're lucky, I mean, and also if you're in, like I was in New Zealand when we discussed all this, and
actually, I'm going to tell you a secret.
I took all the eggs. I was like, I'm going to take all the eggs away from the supermarket. They might be happy that they've sold it, but the little lady coming on just wants her 6 eggs. What happens? So I spent all that time just to buy eggs, let alone buying anything else.
Yeah.
But when I actually worked out the cost of provisioners compared to going to the supermarket, it was, a mango might be a bit more expensive, but you've saved on the eggs.
You have saved on the eggs, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I buy it from the farmer who delivers it to me every morning fresh.
Yeah.
So he picks the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody picks the eggs up.
Yeah.
So they pick the eggs, they put them in boxes, it comes to me the next morning.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happens. They deliver to me at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. Fresh eggs. So I deliver those to you today.
Yeah.
If you order them for today, they get delivered to me at 6 a.m. They were picked at whatever time, yesterday, last night, yesterday morning. They're put in a box, nicely prepared, wrapped it up, it gets delivered to you the next day. So they're fresh. Okay?
And remember, boil your water.
Not today,
remember, boil your water first with your vinegar in before they start complaining to you.
At 6. And actually, because I'm buying from the distributor, from the guy who actually has the farm, I'm actually buying them and selling to you at near enough the same price as if you went and bought them in packs of 6 in Metro. Yeah. Not Metro, Carrefour. Or Metro for that matter. Yeah. But they're not fresh in Metro.
Yeah.
And I'm not having a go at Metro. No. It's not their business model to have fresh eggs. But when I give a client eggs, he wants to crack it and see it's yellow.
Exactly.
Not orange.
Yeah, and we want to see that rise on top of the eggs.
Exactly.
We want to see it sitting up in the pan.
That, yeah. And that's what it's all about. It's all about having high end. Now, if you have got 10 days on those eggs, you want them to be as fresh as they can be the day they're delivered.
Exactly.
You don't want to get them in Metro in a box of 360, which, to be fair, I sold those for years before I found a fucking local supplier who knew what they were doing. But in reality, you have to take those. They could have been in Metro 10 days.
Yeah.
They could have been in Metro longer.
Yeah. And also,
so they're not fresh in 20 days, are they?
And guys, when you're going off to America, remember you're going to see all your eggs in the fridge.
Yeah.
In Europe, we're allowed to keep them outside.
Well, I put mine in the fridge at home.
Yeah, no, but I'm just
I'm confused.
But the process that they use in America means they cannot be put. You have to keep them in the fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they wash it. They wash the seal on the egg,
and that protects it.
And that protects it.
I always put my eggs in the fridge.
Yeah. Well, no, I have eggs in the fridge.
I saw a post recently. Someone was complaining about their eggs being off, and somebody said, "Put them in the fridge, mate." Yeah, and somebody went, "You don't put eggs in the fridge. You can put humans in the fridge if you want." The end of the day, you can put whatever you want in the fridge.
I've done that a couple of times.
Hot coffee, anything, your mobile phone. Do what you want, but in reality, why would you not put a fresh product in a fridge for safety? It's going to last longer.
It's not okay from a food safety point of view.
I need a piss.
It's fine.
Right, go for a piss.
Yeah.
Hold on. What?
That was my best bit.
Oh, go on then. No, let's have it. I'll hold it.
So
I've been desperate for about 30 minutes.
In Europe, if you keep your eggs outside, put them in the fridge. Last a little bit longer. Rah rah rah.
Do you put them in your home at fridge?
Yes, I do. Okay. Yeah. But the point is, if you're doing baking, you want to get those eggs out. Yeah. If you've got tomatoes, you want to take them out before you serve them because you want to get them up to room temperature. If you've got an egg and it's going into flour or whatever it is, and you're putting that's cold.
Yeah, I get that.
So you want it warm,
never thought
and it
of
will
that.
Change your cake.
I've never thought of that, but it's like if I was making, like I told you about those short bread cardamom biscuits.
Yeah.
The temperature of the butter.
Yeah.
is essential. You get that wrong, it's fucked.
Yeah, I imagine you want to keep it quite cool.
No. For that, it needs to be room temperature.
Okay.
And it has to be relatively warm, but not a liquid, of course, because that's a completely different game.
If you're blending it, I suppose.
Yeah, if you're blending it, it needs to be really smoothly blended, and the sugar needs to melt in the butter as it's being blended.
Exactly.
So it's essential that you do that. Otherwise, you're not going to get a proper shortbread.
Yeah.
But the egg is something that, like I said, I cook, but I'm not on your level in any way. I'm not going to pretend I am. I hadn't thought about the egg.
Yeah.
I just take about the egg.
Yeah,
cake, no problem. But that's that. Yeah. And do you know what else?
I'm not. To be honest with you, I'm not. Exactly.
Yorkshire pudding. You need a fucking egg that's room temperature, not a cold egg.
No,
that's going to mix differently. Of course it is. And it's basic chemistry.
That's time.
Nice point.
Let's have a pause on that, and you can go and do what you have to do.
I won't stop thinking about that when I go for a piss now.
My God, how long have we done that?
How long have we been? That's recording. Okay, we're back.
Small break.
So as I get older, I can't hold my bladder as long. Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, that's. I think we can definitely share that with the older chefs. When you're young, you're feeling fit and everything else.
Would you not remember when you were younger, you'd wake up in the morning, and you've got a busy day ahead, and your brain will go, might need a poo, and you go, I'll do it later, and you crack on with your day. Yeah. But at my age now, it sort of happens.
Yes.
Where you're sitting there having your breakfast, just chilling out, looking at TikTok, thinking everything's going to be
fine. You've had your third coffee,
and your body goes, no. Do you know what I mean? Life changes, doesn't it? As you get older.
It does. You have more knowledge, you have more experience, but you go to the loo a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, waking up at night now, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning.
How old are you now, anyway?
49.
Oh, you're just a puppy, yeah.
Don't feel like it some days. Don't feel like it when the cat wakes me up at 6 and says, can I go out? And I'm like, it's 6 o'clock. Yeah. He goes, I'm a fucking cat. Stay out at night then.
Don't you get a cat flap?
No. I don't like them bringing animals in.
Oh, no, that's the best part. He loves me. He's brought a rat.
You got a cat?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, no. I know.
Nice.
Go on and talk about cats and stuff. I was going to say something to you then.
Talk about eggs a minute ago.
Yeah, no.
You're quite vocal on the eggs, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm passionate.
I was about to go to the toilet. You were like, no, you're not.
No, I'm quite passionate about for chefs to understand, because they're always up in. You always end up getting a captain coming in or a management company going, why are you spending it? Why are we going over budget? Or why are we doing this? And there's a budget there for a reason, and that's fine. And they go, well, captains say, well, we have to go shopping at Carrefour or something like that for crew food, and it's not any cheaper.
No,
and I think it's not just about the quality. Obviously, quality for the boss. You want the top, and and it makes our life easier to have the best quality products. You get the fresh. My passion is Pacino tomatoes.
Yeah.
I love them, but when you get those fresh and you deliver that, again, a little bit of olive oil, a bit of sea salt,
simple produce, amazing.
I don't claim to be a Michelin star chef or anything like that. I'm good at reacting to things. I'm good at organisation and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's you just play with those fresh products and you offer them, and it's fantastic. Your job's done for you.
I completely agree. I think a lot of chefs overcomplicate it when you don't need to. I get why on a charter vessel possibly you need to go crazy a bit.
I make it look nice, and you do a little bit of flash, or we put that little pepper on that you've got.
Yeah. But you know what it's like. If you're on a charter vessel, you kind of need to up your game a bit and give them something, impress them, because at the end of the day, it's part of the tip.
It is.
Do you want a tip? Yes. Yeah. Well, then fucking impress them with your molecular gastronomy.
Very nice.
Not easy to say at 11 o'clock in the pub.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need to do that kind of stuff. You need to do a bit of spherification, or just smoking stuff with a cloche over it. Presentation, visual, all of these things need to be there. But a lot of the time, and this is why the industry is split, you've got private and charter, and they are very different animals,
100%.
Aren't they?
100%.
That private guy knows what he wants. He doesn't want you to fuck around. He wants his steak the way he likes his steak.
Yeah.
If you start messing with it and go, do you know what, I'm going to put chimichurri sauce on that tonight, he's going to lose his shit.
Yeah.
It's quite simple. He likes his black garlic ketchup.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't screw about with it.
Yeah.
And I think that as a private chef, that probably, depending on the person, can probably be a bit depressing sometimes. You go, I need to do something special.
No, but But you do end up doing special.
Because you are an artist.
But you do things special when they have their guests.
Yeah.
Because they want to impress you
Okay.
know, they want to, that's their little show.
Yeah.
So you do that. But if you're just the family's on board, then they want their pasta.
Yeah.
The way they want their pasta. And that you need to recognise that.
Yeah.
You can't be
know
going.
when.
You need to know when.
Yeah.
And I think most people get it.
Yeah.
It's,
so I think we're probably. How long have we been in here today? It's literally like 2 hours 40
wow.
minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Gone quickly.
It's like being down the pub, isn't it?
It's
if
like
only we could have had a couple
alcohol.
of without the alcohol.
Without the alcohol, I know if I was in the pub, I'd have been to the toilet more.
And you would have been talking to some Indian fellow about
having a cheeky cigarette outside, talking to an Indian, apologising for colonialism.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you had to tell chefs out there, or anybody for that matter, what's your favourite dish to cook? So when you're on your own, you're with your wife, or if it's something the boss likes, what's your favourite thing to actually cook? What do you get the most satisfaction out of cooking?
Obviously, these things change from a situation where you are, when you are, whatever it is. I love Italian food, but then I love a curry and I love Asian and stuff like that. So, but I think if you've got good quality produce, then halibut would be my fish choice.
Wow.
I just love halibut. John Dory as well, or Saint Pierre. Those two fish are sort of my favourite fish to cook, and I love those. So, and I'd say an Aberdeen Angus steak, nice and simple. Keep it, we're not going to throw a load of sauce over it. I mean, a good little bit of salt, a little bit of nice pepper, and again, simple. And you know something with that? Not this chips or anything like that. A sweet potato baked.
Yeah.
And a nice salad to go with it.
Yeah.
And then something that's going to go with a nice glass of red wine, because that's all part of it. It's all part of the enjoyment. So yeah, I think I'd sort of like do that sort of
Are
food.
you a dessert man?
I've got a passion for vanilla.
Oh, okay.
I love custard. Let's be honest, it's a childhood thing. But yeah, so I love creme brulees and things like that. But I think as you get a bit older, that I'm not that. I'm more. I've always been something. But I think so this brings up another thing for chefs is how often do we prepare the meal as it is being served on a plate. So you're going to do your starter. So you prepare your starter, then you prepare your main course, then you prepare your dessert. And the reason why you prepare your dessert last of all is because you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
As a chef, most chefs, unless you've decided to specialise in desserts or in that side of things, most chefs I know, we all talk to each other and say, oh God, I've got to do dessert. Right, so the tip is, walk in the morning, decide what dessert you're going to do, make it, then you're not panicking at the end of the day. You make and do some tart bases, stick them in the freezer, make some sponges, stick them in the freezer. Have those as your backup. But as you walk in, do your dessert first, then prep the rest of the meal.
Yeah, good idea.
So that really helps. And that's where I'm going to end it on.
Cool, man. Well, listen, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
After you've been to Lake District, let's get you back in to find out what the restaurant was like.
Long Clume.
Yeah. Let's do that. And maybe we should maybe have a rendezvous at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
To discuss the carnage. I think our conversation will be completely different. After the next 6 months are over. What are we now? We're March.
Yeah.
So April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, September, October, we'll do another one.
Yeah.
And we will see how mentally we've changed.
Yes.
Because right now, after a relatively, definitely easier winter in the sense of how things are so crazy in the summer.
For you.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, we do different work in the winter to the summer.
Yeah, it is different. But chefs are, there's many chefs out there. We've either done the Caribbean season,
winter in the Alps.
I've done winter in the Alps. I've also done Caribbean, and it is, it's fairly non-stop.
Yeah.
And I think it's again very important. Going back to that mental state thing, is to turn around to chefs and go, make sure you get quality time.
Yeah.
and it might only be a few days.
Go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
Put it all on black.
Exactly.
Just have some fun.
In fact, I'll just change my plans for today. I'm going to book a flight to Vegas.
But you're right. You've got to take. I think you've got to have some downtime and enjoy yourself. Do some stuff you want, and sometimes that means telling everyone in your life, "No, I'm doing this for me this week. I'm having a week for me." It could be playing golf in Marbella. It could be sitting in Vegas. It could be going to Disneyland if that's what you want. Just go and do something. It's a good advice. And thanks for coming in. And
absolute pleasure.
And we'll speak to you again soon, man.
Sounds good.
Take it easy.